Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to tonight's live stream. You all voted on my Instagram at Pulse Sports Talk. We got the Panthers, we got the Bruins, and it's going to be a good one tonight. Boston, man. Boston, they're a really good team. I'm going to be honest with you. At the start of the season, I made my predictions, and I was one of the people that did not have Boston as a playoff team. And they're making me look stupid now. So thank you, Boston. But no, all jokes aside, they're having a really good season. And Florida, the defending President's Trophy winners, they're having not too bad of a season themselves, but they're middle of the pack. But they got a lot of injuries, which we'll talk about here in the pregame before we get started into some live play-by-play. Hi, everybody. I'm Guy Carenza. I'm going to be doing some play-by-play tonight of the Panthers and the Bruins. Should be a fantastic game played at TD Garden. Boston, leading team in the entire league, 50 points. First in the Atlantic, first in the Eastern Conference. And the Florida Panthers, they have a record of 15, 13, and 4. And they're fourth in the Atlantic Division with 34 points. And they're just a couple points out of a wild card spot. Going to try some new things here tonight. I've got the chat here in the corner. Something I've never done before. So I'll have to see how that ends up turning out. But it should be cool. Should be a fun night. Panthers and the Bruins. Puck drop should be within the next 10 minutes. When I did the San Jose, Arizona game, it ended up taking forever for them to get that rolling. So we'll see how it shakes up here tonight. What is up? I remember you from last time. How are you doing? Go Panthers. We'll see if they win tonight. That's what he says. Is that your prediction to win tonight? I like the Panthers' chances tonight, but they're going against a pretty good Bruins team. In fact, one of the best teams in the league. They might end up winning the President's Trophy. They come in with a record of 24-4-2. That's good enough for 50 points. They're 6 points above Toronto, who occupy the second spot in that division. And they're 16 points above the Florida Panthers, who are their opponent tonight. But when you talk about the Bruins, you got to talk about their home record, as this game will be played at TD Garden. They're 16-0-2. They have not lost a regulation game in the Garden this season. So you think about the Bruins, you think about their home record, and people have been preaching about that all season long. But it really is something to behold. Really, really good record. They're 7-1-2 in their last 10 games. And you got to give a lot of credit to new head coach Jim Montgomery, who honestly came in and took over for Bruce Cassidy after they fired him. And there's a lot of skepticism around Jim Montgomery. He's been out of coaching for a few years. He last coached with the Dallas Stars. Could he come in and take this Bruins team and turn them into a contender after many people thought that they were going to miss the playoffs, that they were getting too old? And he's done just that. He's done a really fantastic job with the Bruins, and so all the credit in the world goes to Jim Montgomery. Florida Panthers are in a similar situation with their head coaching position. They had Andrew Burnett last season behind the bench. He was the interim. He ends up leaving and goes to New Jersey. They bring in Paul Maurice, who was last with the Winnipeg Jets. He comes in, and he's got this team with a 15-13-4 record. They're fourth in the Atlantic, 34 points. Just a few points out of a wild card spot, 3 points to be exact. They're 2 points above Detroit, 7 behind Tampa Bay, who occupy the third spot in that division. It's going to be tough for the Panthers to make the playoffs. There's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference this year. I don't know, can they do it? And that's right, plus Barkov is out. Alexander Barkov will not play tonight. He's day-to-day. He's listed as day-to-day, but he will not play tonight. He has 6 goals, 16 assists for 22 points in 25 games played this season, but he will not play tonight. The Panthers captain. Anthony Duclair is out. Patrick Hornquist is on IR for the Florida Panthers. Lundell is out. Tierney's out. Radko Gudas is a game-time decision. I think he'll play tonight from what I've seen, but it's always a toss-up with those game-time decisions. He might come out from warm-ups, decide he's not going to go. In that case, it would be Matt Kiersted who will take his place on that bottom defensive pairing for the Panthers. So Panthers are 5-5 in their last 10. It seems like they're middle of the pack, but you can say that they could get better. They're dealing with a lot of injuries, as I just listed off. A pretty solid list of names there that's out for the Panthers, and they had a lot of moving parts in the offseason. You think about Tkachuk and the trade that occurred in the summer, the blockbuster trade that sent him to Florida and Uyghur and Huberdeau to Calgary. So, but he's become a staple in this Panthers lineup. He's got 14 goals, 25 assists, 39 points in 29 games. So he's having himself a pretty good season with his new club. But I think when you talk about the Panthers, they lost a lot of depth. They're getting a little. You got Reinhardt and Forsling in fantasy. That's cool, man. I was gonna do fantasy this year, but I ended up not doing it. But the Panthers lineup's looking a little thin. And I think last year their depth was really good, and they helped them win the President's Trophy. But now the roster's looking a little thin, and you got to think about the injuries, and it's probably starting to mount up for him. This is game 33. But I think with a good stretch after Christmas and the New Year, once they finally get some players back, barring that they don't get any more injuries to their lineup, I think that they could go on a good run and make a push for a wild card spot. But if you look at the Atlantic Division standings, it's Boston number 1, Toronto number 2, and Tampa Bay number 3. I think those are probably your top 3 for the rest of the season in the Atlantic. You'll probably see Tampa Bay and Toronto meet again in the first round, which would be interesting. That'd be good television. But it seems like Boston's got this division by the chokehold, barring a collapse late season. So it's Boston's division to lose at this point. As I mentioned before, they're the league leader in points. Spencer Knight is going to get the start tonight for the Panthers. He's 8-4-3 on the season. He's got a 2.64 goals against average and a .919 save percentage, and he's got a shutout. So we'll see how Spencer Knight fares tonight. And his opposition in net is going to be Linus Ullmark. When you say his name, you got to think about the Vezina, right? You got to add that word in there because he's got a record of 17-1-1, a 1.83 goals against average, a .938 save percentage, and 2 shutouts. So he's having himself a fantastic season, and he got to figure he's going to be in the Vezina conversation. And really, when you look at this Bruins team, there's a lot of guys that are performing really well, but most notably is David Pastrnak. And the question coming into the season was, could Pastrnak, what would his next contract look like, as his deal is set to expire at the end of the season? Would he become a free agent? Nobody really knows. It seems like he wants to stay in Boston. It seems like both sides have a mutual agreement on that. It's just, what is that number going to look like? And he's proving a pretty good case for himself. He's got 20 goals, 22 assists, for a total of 42 points on the season in just 30 games. He's got 2 goals, 4 assists in his last 5. And he leads the team in goals and assists and overall points. So go figure, another fantastic season from David Pastrnak. But you got to think about Brad Marchand, Patrice Bergeron. Those are your staples in this lineup. David Krejci has returned to this lineup this season. Charlie McAvoy having a good year. He's only played 17 games, but he'll play tonight. Again, Ullmark and net. It's a solid Bruins lineup, and I really don't think anybody saw this coming, except for maybe Bruins fans. But yeah, any fan of any team would say that their team is going to go on to win the Cup that year. It's a good lineup, and so we'll see how it shakes out, but I like the Panthers' chances. I think they'll play a pretty solid game. With these divisional games, you never really know, even though Boston's got a really solid home record. You never know about these division games. Some teams can come out, and they know these opponents better than others. Puck drop should happen any time now. As I mentioned before, it's in TD Garden, home of the Boston Bruins. Boston and Pittsburgh will meet in the Winter Classic on January 2nd at Fenway Park, so that should be pretty cool. With those 2 jerseys between the Penguins and the Bruins, I think I gotta like the Penguins one more. A lot of people are saying it's ugly or it's a little basic, but I think that's the point. That's usually how Winter Classic jerseys are. I think Boston's jersey could be a top-tier jersey if they had some white stripes to complement those yellow ones. It's a black jersey with yellow stripes and the bear on the front with the Boston text over top. It's an okay jersey. It's not bad. I would have liked to have seen some white striping in there. The black and yellow make it a little two-toned type of vibe, which is okay. And your only white comes in the text that says Boston over the bear, which I think is kind of weird. But it's not a bad jersey. It's okay. But I think the Penguins one is pretty creative. It's a cream color with the P, paying homage to the Pittsburgh Pirates, the hockey team, which is ironic considering the reason the Penguins were able to wear black and gold is because the Pirates existed before the Bruins and they wore those colors. And so the league said, well, you guys technically own it, so sure. And so Boston wasn't too happy about that back in the day, but kind of ironic that they're using that jersey against the Bruins in the Winter Classic. So a little bit of history there, a little interesting note, but I think it's water under the bridge now as both teams have been around for a number of years. So, the Winter Classic, January 2nd, should be looking forward to that. Although I hope in future years we get some teams that haven't played in the Winter Classic before. I think this is Boston's 4th time. They most recently played in 2019, and Pittsburgh, while it's their first Winter Classic appearance in over a decade, they've been in some Stadium Series games, so they're pretty familiar with outdoor games. I think their most recent Stadium Series game was in 2017 or 2018, somewhere around there, so it's only been a couple of years. We got to get some new teams in the mix. So, no Boston, no Chicago, no Pittsburgh, and we're golden. This game is about to start. Get a sip of water here before we get going. The All-Star game will be in Florida, by the way. So if you are a fan of the Panthers and you're down in South Florida, might be worth checking out the All-Star game. I always thought the All-Star game was cool. I always like the skills competition a little bit more than I like the actual game, because the skills competition has gotten a little bit not as interesting over recent years. But I remember back maybe 5 to 8 years ago, there was a time where it used to be really, really cool, and you'd have hardest shot and stuff like that, and guys like Zdeno Chara, who used to be a Boston Bruin, captain of the Bruins, he would go out and you'd shoot, and you had Shea Weber go out there, and it used to be really cool. Now it's kind of like All-Star game. I think there's a few ways that they can make it a lot better. Maybe that's a discussion post I could post on my Instagram in a couple of weeks once we roll around to January, which is when the All-Star game. I think it's either in January or February, so that'd be relevant around then. But Panthers, Bruins, it looks like the Panthers are going to be in their road whites. I have not yet seen the Bruins. So we'll see how it is. I apologize if there's a dog or a few dogs that end up barking in the background. They just tend to do that. They tend to bark, and they're probably gonna bark until my sister gets home. So that's just what it is. So they say that the puck drop is usually at the top of the hour, but I'm not seeing it. Let's get rolling. Yeah, see, it's supposed to start at 7. It is it's a couple of minutes past that, and we have not started the game. I think Paul Maurice was an interesting choice for the Panthers behind the bench. I thought that they were going to keep Burnett. Honestly, it seemed like he was a good choice. He had a really good season last season. So I was kind of shocked when I found out that Maurice was going to be the coach and that they were moving on from Burnett. Just really, really kind of an interesting way to go about things. You have a really good season as an interim. Usually you get to keep your job, but the Panthers were more willing to move forward with Paul Maurice. So interesting to see, but I guess we are finally going to get puck drop in a couple of seconds, maybe. They're going to commercial here on the feed that I've got. And Panthers, man, they're depleted. Their lineup is looking a little shallow. As far as the Bruins are concerned, there's not really a whole lot going on the injury front. Seems like they're a pretty healthy team. When you look at this team, you figure they're one of the older teams in the league, with Patrice Bergeron, Marchand getting up there in years, Krejci returning, and he's up there. But it doesn't seem to have stopped them. they're still making a case for the number one team in the league, so go figure, right? And it just proves that at the top of the season, nobody ever really knows who's going to end up winning the Cup or who's going to win the President's Trophy. It's kind of just a crapshoot, right? So you can make your picks, and usually you can make an educated guess, but sometimes teams like Boston go out there and they have a really good season. And injuries play a part in that. Some teams like Florida, they come out and they just get all banged up, and then, they get behind, and it's tough. But with Boston, it's just, I remember in the offseason, everybody was saying, oh yeah, the Bruins, they're an older team, they might be a little over the hill. That's not the case. Just making sure all my wires are good down there. I got a lot of equipment here and a lot of setup. So once we finally get to puck drop, we'll get to some commentary, but I'm looking forward to this game. Last game I covered was the Sharks and the Coyotes. That game ended up being 3-2 Sharks. It was not as close as the score indicated. The Coyotes came out and they didn't really do anything offensively. They got, I think it was a power play goal or two, and that's how that ended up. But hopefully for a little bit of a closer game this time around with the Bruins and the Panthers. This is I let the fellas on my Instagram decide this game. I wasn't sure what game I was going to do today. I had the time to do a stream today, and so sent out a poll to see if anybody wanted to pick, and Boston and Florida ended up being the game that people wanted to see. So this is what we got. This is what the people wanted. And okay, we're a minute and 30 seconds away from puck drop according to this broadcast. So we continue to wait. I'm gonna have to start just doing these at the top of the hour because I've run out of pregame material. It's been like 20 minutes, right? So I'm out of material. I've pretty much gone over everything that I wanted to go over, but if you have a question, we can do like a Q&A as this goes on, and you guys can drop something in the chat and I'll answer it, and I'll be responsive. We got the chat here in the corner for the first time. Trying something new. We'll have a lot of fun tonight. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you got a question, drop it in the chat. We'll get to it. Intermission should be fun. If you want to say hi or you want to put something down in there, go right ahead, and we'll talk about it. It doesn't even have to be about hockey. We can talk about anything sports related or sometimes just life, right? Because everybody needs somebody to talk to. So I'm here. I'm here for like probably the next 3 hours. So yeah, should be cool. I did not see if Radko Gudas was going to start or was going to be in the lineup for the Panthers. Let me see if there's any more news on that. Let's see. Radko Gudas is not on the ice for warm-ups, so he will not play tonight. It's looking so no Radko Gudas for the Florida Panthers. That means Kiersted, number 3, will be in on likely that bottom pairing for the Panthers. Okay, so we got the Panthers in their normal road whites, and we've got the Bruins in their classic home jerseys, the black with yellow and white trim. And we're about to get started. So, I'm excited. Take a sip of water. We'll pull up a chair and have some fun. Sam Bennett, off the draw, loses. And immediately the puck goes out of play near the Panthers bench. And so that's how we start. 19:56 to go in the first period. Spencer Knight, he gets the nod in net for the Panthers. He's 8-4-3 on the season with a 2.64 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. He has 1 shutout on the season. Linus Ullmark for the Bruins, a Vezina candidate, 17-1-1, 1.83 goals against average and a .938 save percentage. As the puck goes into the near corner, there's a battle for it there. Craig Smith is there for the Bruins, and they're finally able to dig it out. Smith is still battling. Puck is stolen on boards, and now Bennett will throw it up ahead. Over center ice. Here come the Panthers with a shot and a save made by Ullmark. as Hampus Lindholm comes sliding into him, but it looks like both guys are okay. That shot was taken by Colin White, who finds himself on the second line for the Panthers. Or I guess it could be the first line, because that's the Tkachuk, Bennett, and White line. Although on the Daily Faceoff, which is where I usually get all my lineup information, they had the Verhaeghe, Luosterainen, and Reinhart line as the Panthers' top line. And it seems like there might be some arguing that the puck ended up in the back of the net, which I think could be true. The referees are conversing, and it looks like there's actually a discussion here about this. So we'll see what the call ends up being. Depends on when the whistle was blown. I don't have the audio to this feed, so we'll end up seeing. But the shot from White looks like it got swallowed up by Ullmark. I don't see the puck. It looks like it's in the equipment of Ullmark. So I guess the debate is, was the whistle blown before Lindholm crashes into Ullmark, which sent him over the goal line? If it was afterwards, then this would be a goal. But you can't really tell where the puck is. And so they're going to review this. So already, not even 30 seconds of the game, 28 seconds into the contest, we already have a review. So if it ends up being a goal, this would be a 1-0 lead for the Panthers in the first minute of the game, which I think you couldn't start any better if you're the Panthers. That's probably the way you wanted to come out and start the game. And what do we got here? Still no official word. Paul Maurice is talking to one of the linesmen. And again, they're going to show us the replay, so I'll describe it again. White was coming in. Lindholm was defending. White takes the shot. It's swallowed up by Ullmark, and then Lindholm comes crashing into Ullmark and sends him over the goal line. The question is when was the whistle blown? Was it blown before or after the puck crossed the goal line? I guess they end up calling it no goal. Their draw will be to the left of Ullmark. Panthers win the draw, comes back up to the line. Shot by Ekblad is deflected wide of Ullmark. A shot there from the near corner, goes around, back up top to Ekblad. He'll send it back behind the net for Reinhart. And puck will come along to the near boards, and the Bruins have it. Take it over to center ice, they'll work it in deep. And Ekblad's there for the Panthers, and we get a stoppage. And it looks like we're going to have an icing call. So, I think if the Panthers are going to win this game, they're going to have to build an early lead, and they're going to have to get some offensive pressure. If the Bruins are going to win, they're going to have to find a way to shut down the Panthers' top line of Tkachuk, Bennett, and White. Off the draw, the Bruins win it. Behind the net, it's Grzelcyk. He tries to get out of the zone, and he does. Puck is at center ice, but it squirts free. Colin White was there. Panthers have it now. Drop off. Bennett. Tkachuk takes a shot, and it's save made by Ullmark, and it's still in the Bruins zone. They can't get it out. And now they do. Carry it over the red line, and they'll just dump it in to make a change. A little over a minute into the period, it looks like the Panthers are churning on offense. Bruins are yet to have a shot. Ullmark plays the puck to the near corner. It bounces around, ends up in the high slot. Panthers try to keep it in, but it bounces off a Bruin and ends back out in center ice, and it looks like we get a whistle here for a hand pass. Eric Staal, he's been in the league for a long time, finds himself on the Panthers roster this year. He's got 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points in 25 games. He's on the third line tonight. He's now wearing number 12 for the Panthers. But when you think about Staal, you got to think about his time with the Hurricanes. And his brother Mark Staal, is also playing for the Panthers this year. He's on the second defensive pairing. Off the draw, the Bruins. Forbort will send it down into the Panthers zone. Knight has it, and he'll drop it off for Gustav Forsling. He'll play it up ahead to Staal. And the Panthers can't handle the puck, and it looks like it's going to be offside. As Krejci will flip the puck back to the referee. And we'll do another draw. 18:05 to go in the first period. Luosterainen and Coyle on the draw. Luosterainen wins it. Panthers will pitch it back to their defense and they'll dump it in. Hit in the corner there for Hagee. Will lose the puck. And Grzelcyk will dump it out to center ice for the Bruins. They'll work it over the line, but they get swarmed by a crowd of Panthers. That was Taylor Hall trying to work it in. And now he battles in the near corner. But the Panthers are able to squirt it free. Coyle works it towards the net, but it's not really much of a shot. More of a centering feed gone astray, and Knight will swallow it up and freeze it. 17:35 to go in the first period. Shots are 2-1 in favor of the Panthers. Spencer Knight has had himself a pretty good season so far as he starts in net for the Panthers, although on other nights would be Sergei Bobrovsky, who started out cold but really has started to heat up as late. Marchand in the near corner tries to swat it out of the zone and ends up back at the center ice. Montour will work it out to center for Tkachuk. He'll slide it over for White, although he loses the puck and the Bruins will go the other way. Marchand over the blue line, centering pass, but they're offside. We get another whistle with 17:09 to go in the first period. A lot of whistles to start this game. You figure the Florida Panthers, if they're anything like they were last year, they want to play a fast-moving game, although looks like we're not getting that so far tonight. Again, they're without their captain, Alexander Barkov, as he's day-to-day. Panthers in the offensive zone will spin it behind the net. Heponiemi drops it off for Denisenko. He'll lose the puck in the far corner, and the puck will bounce out to center ice. Panthers will take it and heave it back in, trying to get something else going offensively, but the Bruins will control it this time, although they turn it over. Shot there from the far side is sticked away by Ullmark, and the Bruins get out to center. Now it's Kierstead, who's in for Radko Gudas, who was a game-time decision but did not take the ice for warm-ups, and he's not out there tonight, so he misses yet another game. Panthers from their own zone, it's Ekblad, will move it up to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe takes a shot and it's blocked in front, and now the Bruins will go the other way. Pavel Zacha tries to get out to center ice, and he does, but the Bruins will have to retreat back into their own zone for a second. And so they'll work it over their own blue line. Up ahead now. Try to feed it into the slot for Pasternak, but the puck goes astray, and now here come the Panthers. Luosterainen feeds into the center, trying to look for Ekblad, but it's picked off. Puck goes behind the net. Now it's Forbort with it. And the Bruins, with a tic-tac-toe play, get it to Pasternak at center ice. He'll move it over to the near side for Coyle, who'll drop it off for Krejci, trying to dance around a few Panthers, but looks like Aaron Ekblad had that all taken care of, and he takes the pucks and heaves it back out to center ice. Forbort for the Bruins will send it back up to neutral ice. Bruins lose it. And puck is ping-ponging around now. Panthers have it in their own zone. They'll feed it back up to center ice. They'll work it over the blue line, back behind. Ullmark plays it. We'll try and spit around. Tkachuk picks off Ullmark's packs. He's got it behind the net, and he was trying to move it over to Eric Stahl. Gets it up to the point. Shot is blocked. Bruins have it in the near corner. Stahl has it behind the Bruins net. Tries to feed a centering pass, but it's picked off by Boston. Along the near boards, they battle. Taylor Hall has it now for Boston. He works it up to the high slot, and the Bruins will go the other way. Over the blue line, Hall to Coyle. Coyle on the backhand. Pass looking for a trailer. It was Trent Frederick, but he couldn't get the shot away, and puck ends up in the hands of Spencer Knight. He'll freeze. So a lot of whistles early on, although I think, and I would say that the offensive pressure has been more for the Panthers than it has been for the Bruins, although the Bruins are starting to come alive. Shots are 3-1 in favor of Florida, 14:34 to go in the first period. Sam Bennett on the draw. He's going against Bergeron. And looks like Bergeron's going to get thrown out of the circle. So now it'll be Marchand Bennett to the right of Knight. Draws one by the Bruins. McAvoy slides it over to the high slot. Forbort will work it in. Marchand behind the net. And a good defensive play by the Panthers to steal it away from him. Forbort comes sliding into the glass. And the Panthers will work it up. Colin Wright tried to get something going, but the Bruins were ready defensively, and they'll go the other way now over the Panthers line. In the near corner, they battle for it, and now the Panthers have the puck. They'll pitch out the center ice. That was Montour looking for Tkachuk. Again, a lot of play in the neutral zone. Puck is kind of just bouncing around there. A little bit of a feeling out process, it seems like, here for both teams. Although the Bruins have the puck now. They work it over the blue line. Drop pass. Shot. Blocked. That was Craig Smith with a shot opportunity. That was blocked in front of the Panthers. And now here comes Florida. It could be a 3-on-3. And the Bruins will swarm the puck carrier. As behind the net, Panthers work it back up top. It's Kierstead who takes a shot, deflects behind the net. Try to play it in front. And it's Denisenko behind the net. He'll try and center it, but he loses the puck, and the Bruins have it now. Craig Smith over the red line. Drifts to the near boards. Will try and take a shot, but it goes wide. Puck behind the net now. And looks like Mark Stahl had that taken care of, and he sends it back out to the neutral zone where the Bruins will take it. Florida will make a change, and so will Boston, as both teams want to get fresh bodies out on the ice. Krejci gets slammed into at the near boards at center ice, and looked like for the Bruins they retain the puck, although they lose it to the Panthers. Mahura will send it behind the net, and the Bruins will once again steal it away, but now here comes Montour. He steals it away from a Bruin behind the net. The Panthers have it. They'll send it back up top to the line, and now again they'll work it down low. And it's Lindholm. We'll work it out to center for the Bruins. They'll try and come over the Panther line, but the Panthers were ready. 12:10 to go in the first period. Panthers now making a change, and they'll just dump it in. Forbort will send it behind the net. He'll leave it for Taylor Hall, who drifts it up to Coyle. Again, Panthers with good shutdown defense stymie them before they can get anything going offensively. Now the Panthers will go the other way. It could be a 4-on-3. Take a shot, and it's blocked. And another shot is once again blocked. It's Taylor Hall blocking those chances. Puck is picked off, and Panthers will try to go their way. It was Nick Cousins, but he gets it up, and now it's Connor Clifton. He'll take a shot, and it'll be deflected out of play. And so we'll get a draw next to Spencer Knight. So far, not a whole lot going on in this game, really. A lot of pucks getting stuck in the neutral zone. It seems to be a bit of a feeling out process, as both teams seem to try and get acquainted with each other. Let's see. Soon the last time these two teams played. Looks like last time they played was in Florida, and the Panthers actually won that game 5-2. And back in October, on October 17th, in TD Garden, the Panthers won, the Bruins won 5-3. So seems like they've split the first two games so far. And it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this game plays out. They haven't met in a couple weeks. Last meeting came on November 23rd, just before American Thanksgiving. And now here we are on December 19th. Boston's next game is against Winnipeg. It'll be at home. And then the day after, they'll go to New Jersey to play the Devils. And for the Panthers, They will take the Devils on Wednesday. That will be a home game for them. And then on Friday, they will go to New York to take the Islanders on. And then they're off for a couple days. And their next game isn't until the 29th. After Christmas, they'll play Montreal at the BB&T Center. If it's still called that. Maybe, I don't think it's called that anymore, actually. It might be like Florida Live Arena. Yeah, that's it. Crazy how that changes. But you talk about Boston, you talk about their impressive home start. Really, it's one of the best home starts in NHL history. They've got 34 points in their first 18 home games. That's the second best in NHL history, behind themselves from 1973 to 1974, where they had 34 points in their first 18 home games. So Boston's been dominant at home. But the Florida Panthers, see if they can find a way to give Boston a loss at home. Off the draw, moving in, shot save made by Knight. And that was Hampus Lindholm looking for an opportunity there for Boston. Marchand with it in his own zone. He'll slide it over, and they'll return it back to him. He'll move it over center ice. We'll drop it off for Bergeron. Bergeron behind the net. It's DeBrusk, and he'll center a pass that will be swallowed up by Knight. And he'll hold. 10:57 to go in the first period. And off the draw, Lindholm won it, and he went around everybody. Tried to go short side on Spencer Knight, but he was up to the task, and he made the save. Shot might have hit him in the mask, but he looks like he's okay. Shots are 3 apiece. We've played almost 10 minutes in the first period. We got 10:57 to go. It's been pretty even, although Boston is in the Panthers zone, draws to the left of Knight. Bruins have it. They'll work it back up top. Shot there from the far corner is blocked in front and sent out by the Panthers, although the Bruins will have it at center ice. Grzelcyk couldn't get out of his own zone. He was being hounded by a Panther. Verhaeghe behind the Bruins net. Puck is held in by Matthew Tkachuk. And Mark Stahl will send it behind the net for Florida. They'll look to center. Verhaeghe will leave it for Luostarinen, who gets tripped up. No call. Puck squirts in front of Ullmark. He didn't think he knew where it was. He didn't have a stick, and now he does. But the Panthers aren't able to capitalize on that, as they have it in their own zone, and they'll lose it at center ice. It looks like both teams will elect to just make a change. Boston over the red line. Craig Smith looking to get something going, but he loses the puck. At center ice, the Panthers dump it in. Ullmark behind his net to play it. Slide it over to a defenseman. Smith trying to work it up again, but he gets picked off. Now the Panthers go the other way. It's Stahl and Lomberg at the Bruins line, and it looks like they're offside, so we'll get another draw. And it looks like they're going to go to commercial. So, honestly, man, not a whole lot going on. I'm real with you. Not a whole lot going on. But looks like a feeling out process here between the Bruins and the Panthers. I think this is a color-changing cup. It is a color-changing cup. I don't think I knew that when I initially filled this up with water. It was green, and now it's like a purplish color. So it's pretty cool, I guess. Lexus December to Remember sales event is going on. And Christmas is just around the corner. So, Merry Christmas. Happy Holidays. And December 19th. So, we're getting close to the end of the year. And soon, it'll be 2023. You gotta think. What's my New Year's resolution? Personally, My New Year's resolution is to become the Lord of Riz, just to have immaculate Riz. I want to be known as the Rizzler or the Riz God, Riz Lord, anything along those lines. Just immaculate Riz. That's my goal for the year. This last year was about self-improvement. This next year is all about my Rizzler arc. We are back. We're back in Boston. As Luosterainen and the Panthers look to get on the board. Can they score first? I don't know. We'll see if they can. Play's been pretty back and forth so far. Shots are pretty even, as the draw will be along the near side at the Bruins blue line. It's going to be Coyle and Heponiemi for the Panthers. And off the draw, Coyle wins it. At the line, the Panthers will poke it in deep. Denisenko was trying to get it in. Centering pass by Dalpe will be steered aside, and once again, puck is back out at center ice. Although the Bruins have it over the line. It's Connor Clifton. He turns and shoots and scores! Connor Clifton, and the Bruins have a 1-0 lead. Okay, how about that? So Boston scores the first goal of the game, and it's Connor Clifton. Go figure. It is his third goal of the year, his 10th point overall, and really an impressive play as he works over the blue line, gets behind a few Panthers, goes behind the net, tries to center it, ends up picking up the rebound, and just goes top shelf. So a beautiful goal. Boston 1, Florida 0, as we are midway through the first. And again, the Bruins continue to be dominant at home. Off the draw. In the near corner in the Panthers zone. Puck is up high. Lindholm will work it in deep. Behind the net, it's Bergeron. He will center one, and Knight couldn't corral it. Ends up in the high slot. They'll poke it back out to the blue line. Take a shot, and puck loose over to McAvoy. He takes a shot, and it's save made by Knight. And center ice, it's Bergeron. He will dump it in. Knight will leave it for the defenseman. Looks like Connor White was exchanging some words with someone on the Bruins bench. And it appears that he's unhappy. Luosterainen will dump it in for the Panthers. In the far corner, Zacha will move it up to center ice for the Bruins. Panthers, first one's on it there. They'll dump it in. McAvoy, first one on it for Boston. He battles with Carter Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe gets it back up to the point. Shot by Stahl. Rebound is loose, and a shot there, and a save made by Ullmark. The Panthers with a few good chances there, but Ullmark was up to the task. At center ice, it's Verhaeghe. We'll try and get a pass forward, but it was too far for Luosterainen, and the Bruins have it now. Panthers will make a change. Boston now has 5 shots. Panthers 4. We got 7:27 and counting to go in the first period. Over the red line, Boston looking to build upon their 1-0 lead. Panthers have the puck now. They steal it away. Denisenko will try and move into the Bruins zone, but again, he gets stuffed by the Bruins defense at the line. Now it's Craig Smith. Working in deep into the Panthers zone. Working on him is Kierstead. They jostle on the corner. Bruins have it now. Shot from the far side is saved made by Knight, and he has it, and he'll cover. A shot was taken by Nosek for Boston. And DeBrusk had a really good opportunity down low. It looks like he fired it wide, and then previously there was a chance for the Panthers in front of Ullmark, but he was able to get the puck out. Panthers didn't really get a shooting chance on that play. Good defense by Boston. Draw will be to the left of Knight. Panthers win it, and they'll send it to the blue line, and they can't get it out. It's held in by Boston. Along the near side, it's Taylor Hall. He'll button hook and look for reinforcements at the line. Shot there by Clifton, who has the goal in the game for Boston. Save made by Knight. Back up top for Hall, and the shot is blocked in front. Clifton, the first one on it for Boston. Bruins behind the net, tried to feed it for Frederick, and he gets stuffed. And the Panthers have the puck, and they'll work it out to center ice. Trying to get a stretch pass for Panther, but he couldn't corral it. And Allmark will direct it into the corner. That was Eric Stahl who was looking for a chance. Now, Boston, Coyle will send it over to Hall. Hall trying to get around Montour, but a good defensive play there. He drops it off on a shot. Save made by Knight, direct into the far corner. Rebound, and he loses it, and he makes another save. So Knight was trying to feed it back into the far corner and ends up fumbling the puck, and it was a chance for Bergeron, and Knight was able to dive on that puck there and make the save. 6:13 to go in the first period. So Spencer Knight gets very lucky, as it was almost a 2-0 Bruins lead. And think about a guy like Patrice Bergeron, he doesn't miss very often on those types of plays. So really, really lucky play for Spencer Knight. Draw will be to the right of Knight. And it's a nice little rhyme on a Monday night. And Bruins win it. The puck is directed to the Panthers, and they will get it out to center ice. To Chuck with it now. We'll dump it in. Lindholm there first for the Bruins, and they'll look to break out. Could be a 3-on-3. You got a trailer in the high slot. Takes a shot. They score! And that's Brandon Carlo. And he's got his first of the season, and the Bruins have a 2-0 lead. And so, look at the replay and see if they're onside. They are. And so it was a 3-on-3. The trailer was Carlo. They drop it off to him, and the puck finds the back of the net. A beautiful shot by Brandon Carlo. And really, just nobody picked him up. He was the trailer. He's left all alone. And Boston has a 2-0 lead. So Paul Maurice and his squad find themselves down after having a pretty solid effort so far, but shots are 6-5 in favor of the Bruins, and the score is 2-0 in favor of Boston. Off the draw, the Panthers have it in their own zone. Mark Stahl works out to center ice. Panthers looking to get something going. How will they respond? Luosterainen will dump it in. Bruins have it, and they'll immediately try and send it back out to center, but the Panthers keep it in. Along the near corner now. Reinhart will spin it around to the far side. Panthers keeping it in. They'll try and send it back to Reinhart behind the net, and he fumbles the puck a bit, and now Taylor Hall finds himself in there. That is number 73, Charlie McAvoy. Only saw the first 7, thought I saw 1. In the near corner, Verhaeghe tries to center one, and it finds its way to Reinhart, but a good diving play by Boston works it back out to center ice, and the Bruins will change. Panthers now will also make a change, as they have the opportunity to do so, as they'll hold it in their known zone, and now they'll finally work it out to center ice and try and get something going at the blue line, but it's deflected deep. And it's Clifton who has a goal for Boston. It was the first of the game. Panthers try to center a puck, and the Bruins were ready, and they'll move it back out to center ice. Craig Smith couldn't handle the pass, and Kierstead will dump it in for the Panthers. Bruins can't get it out. And in the near corner, it's Stahl, although the Bruins poke it away from him. And Connor Clifton will send it out to center ice. And now we get a stoppage of play with about 4 minutes to go. And looks like they're going to go to commercial break. 4:26 to go in the first period. Boston with a 2-0 lead. Goals coming from Connor Clifton and Brandon Carlo. So go figure, the first goals of the game are from the Bruins defensemen. Brandon Carlo picks up his first goal of the year on the most recent goal, and then Clifton picks up his third on the season. So I think the question now is, how will the Panthers respond? The Bruins, we know how good they are at home. They're 16-0-2. They've not lost in regulation in TD Garden. The Panthers, 15-13-4 record, just a few games above 500. They're 3 points out of a wild card spot. They're kind of chasing the season right now. They got a lot of guys out due to injury. No Alexander Barkov in this game. He's day-to-day, did not play tonight. Radko Gudas was a game-time decision, did not take the ice for warm-ups, and he will not play in this game as well. Anthony Duclair, Patrick Hornquist, Anton Lundell, and Chris Tierney are all out. Duclair and Hornquist are on IR. So, the Panthers' injury woes, you pair that with a team that kind of has a new identity, a new guy behind the bench, and no more Jonathan Huberdeau or Mackenzie Weegar. They were shipped off to Calgary from Matthew Tkachuk. Tkachuk himself has had a pretty good season so far. In fact, he leads the team in points and assists. He's got 14 goals, 25 assists for 39 points, but he also leads the team in penalty minutes, as he's got 45. And speaking of penalties, there hasn't been any in this game so far. So special teams have been a non-factor. Although, for Florida, you got to think if they're given a chance to maybe go on the power play, they're going to have to want to take advantage of that opportunity. We are back to live action in Boston. They're getting ready to take the draw. It was an offside at the Panther line on Boston. Off the draw, Coyle loses the draw, and the Panthers, Eric Stahl, will have it at center ice. He'll send it over. Panthers with a shot sticked away by Ullmark. If you're going to want to beat him, you're going to have to try a little harder. As the Bruins work it out to center, Coyle looking for a stretch pass to Hall, but it wasn't going to connect. Panthers take it away, and they'll send it back out to center ice. Carlo, the most recent goal scorer, sends it over the line. Coyle takes a shot, and he scores! Bruins have a 3-0 lead off a goal by Charlie Coyle, and this thing is turning into a routing. All right, so we were wondering how would Florida respond, and the answer to that is they haven't. Boston. Charlie Coyle finds himself wide open, and he fires the shot, and it squeaks under the right arm of Spencer Knight, and the Bruins have a 3-0 lead. Okay, well, I expected this game to be a little closer than that, but beggars can't be choosers. You guys picked this game. Now, off the draw, Panthers have it. They'll send it back out to center ice. And you really got to think that the next goal has to belong to Florida, or else this game could be over. Spencer Knight has allowed 3 goals on 9 shots. And I have to say, it just hasn't been a good night for Spencer Knight. Draw will be to the right of him. It'll be Bergeron and Bennett. Bergeron wins the draw. We'll get it back to McAvoy. McAvoy will drop it off for Marchand. He does a little on the spin move. He'll work out to the bottom of the circle, and he'll take a shot. And he misses, gets his own rebound. And Panthers will take it away and dump it out to center ice. And actually, they'll dump it into the Bruins bench. So we'll get another stoppage of play. 3:27 to go in the first period, and so far, it's been all Boston. It was looking like we get a pretty good back-and-forth game to start, with a few whistles here and there. But eventually the Bruins found a way to break out, and really, it was off a couple rushes. They found a guy wide open. I'm thinking about Brandon Carlo and most recently Charlie Coyle. And now it's a 3-0 game in the first period. The Panthers have to get the next goal. It's imperative. Knight has it, but we get a stoppage of play. And Sam Bennett is talking to the referee. Could we see him go to the penalty box? And it looks like we will. And so it could be a high sticking call. It looks like off the draw, he might have caught Marchand up high. He was jostling with Marchand. And looks like the referees gave the penalty. And looks like the call is going to be roughing. So the Bruins go to the power play. First power play for either side in this game. See how the Panthers penalty kill does, but the Bruins power play out on the ice here. The Panthers win the draw, and they'll hoist it back out to center ice and immediately kill some time. Allmark from the blue paint will spin it over, and Pastrnak has it now. Will carry it over the Panther line, works it down low and tries to center a pass, but it gets sticked aside to the far corner now. Pastrnak will send it over to Marchand. Will try and center one for Bergeron. Pad save by Knight. And the puck comes over the Panther line and back out to center ice, and the Bruins will regroup. Panthers will get a change. One guy goes off for Florida. Pastrnak, centering pass, sticked down by Sam Reinhart, although Bruins retain possession. They'll battle along the near boards, and the Panthers will win that battle and send it back out to Bruin territory. 1:13 to go on the Boston power play. 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go in the first period overall. Bruins now back at center ice. Lindholm will drop it off for Pastrnak. They'll send it back over to the far side. It's Hall with it now. He'll work it back up to the line. Bergeron looks, tries to get a pass down low for Hall. Couldn't get the deflection. Hall has it in the near corner. He'll send it back up top, looking for Bergeron. Pass is blocked. Bergeron will come and receive it. He'll send it over and tried to feed it out in front for what looked like Pastrnak, but he couldn't handle the pass, and now the Bruins have it in their own zone. 38 seconds to go on the Boston power play. Bruins work it over the red line. Now deep into the Panthers zone. And a battle for it behind the Panthers net. You think the Panthers are going to try and kill some time here as Pavel Zacha's in the middle of it for Boston. Ekblad was there for Florida, and Ekblad takes it and shoves it back out to center ice. In the neutral zone, Boston, Krejci, over the line. Looks like he was looking for another Bruin, but the pass is picked off, and the Panthers will work it in deep. Panthers are back to full strength as the penalty to Bennett has expired. And we're back to 5-on-5 action with 1 minute and 10 seconds and counting to go in the first period. Puck is dumped in by Boston. Knight will play it back up top to Chuck. And he'll work into the neutral zone. Will slide it over for a teammate. Try to center one and a save made by Allmark. Back to Chuck. Shot is blocked. That was Trent Frederick. And he'll work it out to center ice. Coyle trying to go coast to coast for Craig Smith. But he couldn't find him, and the Panthers take it away. Panthers move it to Chuck. He goes over the Bruin line. He'll look, take a drag, and take a shot. And save made by Allmark. Centering pass is taken away by Boston. And goes back out to neutral ice. And the Panthers, with 27 seconds to go, will dump it in. To Chuck with it now. In the far corner. We'll try and pitch it up to the high circle. Puck bounces back to him. He exchanges with Luostarinen. And now the Bruins take it away. It's Pastrnak with 8 seconds to go. Loses the puck. Marchand has it along the near side, and that'll pretty much do it. So we get zeros on the clock in the first period. That is the end of that. Boston has a 3-0 lead heading into the first intermission. So it looked like a pretty promising start for the Panthers. They were getting some pretty even action against the Bruins, but eventually Boston started to break away with it, and now it's a 3-0 lead for Boston. We'll recap that all coming up in about 30 seconds. So we'll have that all. We'll have a recap coming up in the next 30 seconds. We'll have a recap there, and we'll go over some stats and anything that we saw in the first period. And if you guys have a comment or a question, drop it down in the chat box below, and we'll get right to it. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a second. All right, we are back, and thinking about it now, it's a 3-0 Boston lead. I'm regretting not covering Monday Night Football tonight, as the Rams and the Packers are playing. But we got a pretty good offensive showing from Boston so far, so we'll go over that. As tonight we got the Panthers and the Bruins. Now, this is not my fault. You guys voted for this on my Instagram, and I'm not sure if I'm going to give you guys voting rights again because this could end up being a blowout. I think maybe next time I will just pick the game. Although the last time I picked the Sharks and the Coyotes, so I guess I can't judge too much. We'll over some scores right now. Stars are in Columbus at the first intermission. It's 0-0. Detroit leads Washington 2-0. That game is in the first intermission. Of course, our game, Bruins lead the Panthers 3-0. And we got a few other games that haven't started yet. Oilers are at the Predators, Islanders at the Avalanche, Sabres at the Golden Knights, Canadiens at the Coyotes, and the Blues are in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. So, with this game, let's do a little recap, shall we? So Connor Clifton got the party started. 10:51 into the first period, he made it 1-0 Boston. Pretty good shot, wrist shot. Beats Spencer Knight, that makes it 1-0. About 4 minutes later, 14:04 in the first period, it was Brandon Carlo. He was the trailer on a 3-on-3 that became a 3-on-4. And they dropped off the Carlo. Nobody picked him up. And good shot. Beats Spencer Knight. And it's 2-0 Boston. And then, just 2 minutes after that, it's Charlie Coyle on a similar play where they moved over Coyle in the near circle. He's at the top of the circle, wide open. And he takes a shot and squeaks under the arm of Spencer Knight. And it's 3 goals on 12 shots for Spencer Knight. Speaking of shots, they are 12-9 in favor of Boston. Boston's winning the faceoff battle 52.4 to 47.6. They're 0-1 on the power play. Florida has not gotten a chance on the power play. Hits are 9-4 in favor of Florida. Blocks are even at 4 apiece. Giveaways are 6-5 in favor of Boston. Boston is 5, Florida is 6. And takeaways are 5-3 in favor of Florida. So, not a fantastic night so far for Spencer Knight, although you got to think that he would have liked to have had a few of those back. Shots that easily could have been swallowed up by either the glove or his arm, something like that, but he just was not able to corral it. And the story so far is Boston with a 3-0 lead, and they're dominant at home, and I'm starting to see why. They're 16-0-2 at home, and they're looking to make that 17-0-2. They have not lost in regulation at TD Garden. And, again, why are they so dominant? I think they just find a way to get guys open. I don't know if that's just the Panthers playing some poor defense, but think about Coyle, you think about Carlo, and even Connor Clifton on his goal. A lot of trailers moving in on the blue line. We've seen 2 goals from defensemen for Boston, so it looks like they have a trailing D-man that will work over the blue line on rushes. And the Panthers have not been able to pick them up, and they've gotten 2 goals out of it. First intermission from TD Garden, and I'll take some time to talk about my new podcast coming up. So me and my buddy, it's not hockey related, but we're gonna start a podcast, and our theme, or I guess our topic of our podcast, is going to be video games, and how are newer games better than older video games, and does nostalgia play a factor in that? So we're gonna start recording some episodes here soon. It's gonna be called The Normal Show. It's a play on Regular Show. If you ever watched Regular Show as a kid, one of the greatest shows of all time. So we want to do something like that. But yeah, so we're gonna have a podcast coming out. I might plug it once on my Instagram, and that's probably it. I don't want to be that guy that just plugs stuff all the time. So if you're into that, go check it out. If you're not, then don't. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about video games, and been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag recently. It's a pretty good game, although I really not a big fan of the movement or the combat in that game. It's a little janky, a little stiffer as opposed to the new Assassin's Creed games, but a lot of people seem to not like those. Mostly because they're more open world, a little bit more of an RPG game. Personally, I don't mind it, but a lot of people seem to like the older ones, and it seems like they're trying to go back to that formula, so really interesting to see how that turns out. But back to sports. I mean, if anybody has anything that they want to talk about, by all means, drop a question down into the chat box. We got the chat box here. Wait a minute. We got the chat box here on the stream for the first time, experimenting with that. So we'll see how that ends up going. But we got the chat box here, and we'll take a look and let's see if you guys have anything you want to talk about. Because really, it's a 3-0 lead for Boston. This has the makings of a potential blowout. If Florida doesn't get their act together, they're going to have some trouble. Although you got to attribute their lack of scoring to the fact that they've got so many people out due to injury. So let's see. Actually, I want to see Florida's goals per game of the last couple games. So they win in New Jersey on Saturday. They win that 4-2 in New Jersey. They lose to Pittsburgh 4-2. They beat Columbus 4-0. They lose to Seattle 5-2. So it seems like they're either scoring they're either scoring 2 goals or they're scoring 4 goals. When they score 4 goals, they win. When they score 2 goals, they lose. They're gonna need at least 4 tonight to win this one. And you have to find a way to stop Boston's offense. But really, it's the Bruins who have been capitalizing on their offense. And I thought Florida had some really good chances early on, but they just weren't able to really get things rolling offensively. They had a few good chances, just weren't able to get some super sustained pressure. And it was kind of back and forth for a while there. I mean, we had some whistles that slowed the game down a bit. But once we started getting less whistles and the game started to open up, it really started to go in Boston's favor. Boston would make these rushes into the Panthers zone. A lot of pucks getting stuck in the neutral zone, but when Boston would have it, they started to notice that they started carrying it over the blue line. They'd move in waves, so you'd have like a 3-on-3 for Boston, but then they'd drop it off to a trailing defenseman, and that's why they have 2 goals from defensemen, Clifton and Carlos, so far in this game. Just that trailing defenseman comes in, takes a shot, and really a couple shots that Spencer Knight would have liked to have had back. Shots going over his glove, squeaking under his arm. Really just a tough night for Spencer Knight so far, as he's allowed 3 goals on 12 shots. I'm not sure if head coach Paul Maurice will keep him in for the remainder of this game. The backup is Sergei Bobrovsky. But for Florida, it's going to be, can you guys find a way to stop Boston, number 1? And number 2, can they generate some offense of their own? Because right now they got a goose egg on the board, and you got to figure, right? And the next goal is always huge. But you got to think, if the next goal goes Boston's way, then this could be pretty much all said and done for. Although for the Panthers, I think they need to come out and they need to really play with a lot of tempo and intensity to start this period, or else if they come out flat, or if it's even in any way, Boston's just going to contain that, and it's going to be a tough remainder of the night for Florida. Sam Bennett took the only penalty of the first period. It was a roughing minor. Shots are 9-12 in favor of Boston. And offensive zone possession time is pretty even. They're showing it up here on the feed that I'm watching. Boston a minute 41 and Florida a minute 8. but it seemed to me like there was a lot more offensive zone time for Boston than there was Florida. And I think Florida had a little bit towards the end of the period, which counted towards that. But I think for the majority of the period, Florida would try and set up, but they weren't really getting set up, and Boston would make some good defensive plays and take it away. And Florida would do the same, and then, like I said, once the whistle stopped and the game started to open up, they really benefited the Bruins, because then they were able to drop that puck back to that trailing defenseman, and they would fire, and they got a couple goals out of it. So the Florida Panthers are 10th in the Eastern Conference. They've got 34 points. They're 3 points out of a wild card spot that is currently occupied by the New York Islanders with 37 points. The good news for the Panthers is that Washington's losing right now, so they're trailing them in the standings, chasing that wild card. Washington's a few points ahead of them. They got 36. The Panthers 34. But you look at the Atlantic Division, it's Boston with 50 points, Toronto with 44, and Tampa Bay with 41. I got a feeling that's going to be your top three in the Atlantic. For a while there, it looked like Detroit was going to maybe contend for that, but now they seem to have kind of slowed down a bit. They've got 32 points, so I think it's going to be Boston, Toronto, and Tampa Bay. In what order, I'm not really too sure, but it looks like Boston might have that the first spot in the conference and the Atlantic Division, and we could see a rematch between Tampa Bay and Toronto in the first round, which would be pretty good television, for being honest. But for the Florida Panthers, they won the President's Trophy last year, and now they're in danger of missing the playoffs. And that's only happened 4 times in NHL history. I think the first time was the Rangers. They won the President's Trophy, missed the playoffs the year after, and then they won the Stanley Cup. I think the second time was Buffalo. I think it was around the 06 or 07 season where they won the President's Trophy, and then they missed the playoffs the following season. And then I think Boston in 2013, 2014, somewhere around there, they won the President's Trophy, and then they missed the playoffs. So Florida is in danger of being the 4th team in NHL history to win the President's Trophy and then miss the playoffs the next year. And I thought in the offseason, after they made that trade for Tkachuk, they could be in danger of doing that. And just I thought because they lost their head coach, Burnett, and they bring in Maurice, they bring in a new face, they lose Uyghur, they lose Huberdeau, they bring Tkachuk. You're not really too sure about what's going to happen. How well would Bobrovsky play? I would also play a big factor. And I was skeptical. I didn't know. I thought the Panthers would be a playoff team, maybe a wild card team, but it's just tough going forward. But at least they're not the Ottawa Senators, right? The Senators had high expectations going into the season, and now they find themselves towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. In fact, Ottawa is 14-15-2 with 30 points. So the Senators find themselves 7 points out of a playoff spot. And you talk about a team with high expectations. They had them, and they're not meeting them. And so you got to wonder if somebody could be on their way out soon, or what's going to happen. As everybody had said that the Ottawa Senators had won the offseason, but it's not translating well in on the season so far. Teams that have surprised me so far. First and foremost, it's got to be Boston. Like I said at the top of the broadcast, a lot of people, including myself, had them missing the playoffs, and now here they are, winning the President's Trophy race. So go figure. The New Jersey Devils are also surprised. They're leading the Metropolitan Division. They've gotten off to a hot start, although they've cooled off a little bit. They've lost their last 3. And you want to talk about surprising, the Winnipeg Jets, second in the Central Division. They have 41 points. They're 20-10-1. That's interesting. I mean, I didn't think they'd make the playoffs either, and then here they are. And of course, you got to talk about the St. Louis Blues when you think about teams that were expected to make the playoffs and really haven't had all that great of a season. They're 15-15-1, so they're just even at 500. They got 31 points. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot. So that just goes to show how much parity there is in the NHL, how much changes over the course of a year, or at least an off season. But I think that's what makes the NHL so interesting. Is just you never really know. There's a lot of parity, right? And I think that's what you want in a sports league. You don't want to see the same teams dominate every single year. This isn't the NBA. I think that's one of the reasons that I haven't really gotten into the NBA is it seems like the NBA is kind of more favored towards dynasties and big threes and teams with a lot of star power on it. Seems like a lot of teams will just try and get as many superstars as they can and go on a run. And you usually get a crowd of teams at the top. Like maybe 5 or 4 teams at the top, and then everybody else kind of just shakes out the way it shakes out. But I don't know. I've never really been much into the NBA. I've tried to cover it a little bit more this year, but it's I don't know. I like hockey and football more. Oh, speaking of football, let's maybe check in on Monday Night Football. Has that even started yet? Let's see. As we're about to start the second period in this game. Monday Night Football has not started. It'll be the Rams and the Packers playing in Lambeau. Baker Mayfield is set to make his second start for the Rams. The Rams are 4-9 and the Packers are 5-8. And so what looked like it could be an interesting matchup at the beginning of the season has now turned into a dud. As the Rams have been ravaged by injuries, and the Packers have not played up to expectations. Both teams are probably going to miss the playoffs. But back here at TD Garden, looks like we're set to start the second period. And off the draw, Florida wins it. Montour will dump it in for Florida. Colin White keeps it in, and he'll try and spin it around for Tkachuk, although the Bruins get there first, and now they'll try and work it back out to center. Off the glass, comes to Ekblad. He'll leave it and give it to Knight. The Panthers will send it up to White. He'll work it over for Tkachuk. He'll try and find Ekblad trailing. Ekblad moving in, tries to center one, and Bennett was there. Did Omar make the save? Yes. And the Bruins, with the loose puck, escape. It's a 2-on-2. They'll gain the red line, and Frederick will try and work his way around Ekblad, and he does. Tries to center one, and it's deflected in front, and a shot by Hall couldn't get there. He chases his own rebound, and Tkachuk is there. And Ekblad is there to help him out. Panthers. He's trying to escape out of their own zone, and they have it now. Bennett tried to work to Tkachuk, but it's batted out of midair by Boston and sent back into the Panthers zone. Hall in the near corner spins it around, goes coast to coast as along the half wall. Bruins have it. Send it behind the net for Hall. Tries to center one. Blocked out in front by Luosterainen. Hall again tries to center it, and the puck goes out of play, and could a Panther have maybe chipped that out? I'm looking at Luosterainen, and the Bruins are saying delay of game, and it looks like they're going to get their wish. And the Panthers had a really good chance. Puck was right on the doorstep, and it looks like Bennett kicked it into the post and couldn't get the rebound. Allmark was sprawled out like a starfish, and the Bruins were able to sweep it away. Back at the point, Boston works it down low. Forsling in the box for Florida for delay of game. Bergeron fires and goes wide. Marchand picks up the rebound. Marchand down below the goal line on the far side. Works it in, a shot by Bergeron. Save made by Knight, and a rebound. Pasternak scores. And so now it's a 4-0 game. Boston is just taking it to the Panthers here. And, we got ourselves a barn burner at TD Garden as David Pasternak adds to his team-leading goal total. He's got 21 goals in 31 games. Oops, my bad. I forgot to take off the intermission. We're in the second period. Boston has scored on the power play on the delay of game penalty, so you can't be happy with that if you're Paul Maurice or a Panthers fan. And, of course, Pasta doing what Pasta does best. He gets his 21st of the season, and just a couple minutes into the second period, the Bruins have a 4-0 lead. Panthers will work it in deep. Allmark will play it over to Forbort, and he'll try and get it out. I'll take the puck and send it back around, and the Bruins will work it out to center ice. They gain the red line and dump it in. First man on for Florida is Ekblad. He'll try and go behind his net, although there's a Bruin stepping on his shadow. Looks like that is Pavel Zacha. And they'll battle in the near corner. Ekblad falls down. Krejci steals the puck away. Pastrnak winds and fires, and it goes wide. And in the near corner, Zacha battles with a few Panthers, and puck along the near boards will work its way back out to center ice, although the Bruins are ready for it as they'll dump it into the Panthers zone, and they might just make a change. Pastrnak goes off for Boston. Panthers will also make a change as they'll work out of their own zone. 4-0 game. Verhaeghe down below the Boston net, tries to center one. Pass is picked off. Panthers keep it in. Although the Bruins will slap it back out to center ice, but it comes back in. They hold it in. Shot by Verhaeghe is blocked in front. Verhaeghe back up top, a shot, and Omar couldn't swallow it, and the Panthers score. So they get the next goal. It's Sam Reinhart cashing in on a juicy rebound, and the Panthers aren't done yet. Not much of a celebration from the Panthers, just a couple fist bumps as they know that they're still down by 3, but it's a start, isn't it? As the Panthers make it a 4-1 hockey game. So, for Florida, that's what they needed to do, is get back onto the board. Maybe a lucky bounce, what have you. At least they find a way to get the shutout from Ullmark off the board. Bruins in the Panthers zone. Pass is picked off by White. He'll work it over to center ice. The Panthers trying to improve on their most recent goal from Sam Reinhart. That's his 12th of the season. Bruins have it at center ice. And puck is just kind of bouncing around like a ping pong ball on center ice. And it continues to do so, and now the Bruins try and work it over the Panther line. And again, puck comes back out to center ice. Bruins dangerous play. They were making a change. Could have been called for too many men on the ice. But I don't think the referee spotted it as we continue to play on. What's up, Kevin? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. We got a 4-1 game here at TD Garden. The Bruins are 16-0-1 at home. And they're showing me wise. They've had a pretty good showing so far against division rival Florida Panthers. Around the boards it goes. Back out to center ice. Puck will go deep into the Florida zone. Ekblad there for the Panthers. He'll work it over to Reinhart, the Panthers' only goal scorer. He gets checked at center ice and gets it to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe on the backhand tries to center a pass. Couldn't connect. Puck ends up with the Bruins. And it'll be worked over into the far corner. Looks like Luster-Ryan is trying to get something going. Bruins tie him up. Grzelcyk at the center of it. Puck squirts out in front. And a shot taken by, looks like a Panther defenseman. And it'll go up and out of play. How do you donate to the stream? I don't know, man. I don't have that set up. I don't take any money out of this. This is just practice for me. But I appreciate your kindness. Mitchell Miller. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about. I'm not going to comment on Mitchell Miller. Personally, I don't think the Bruins should have even dipped their toes in that realm. They're already having a really good season, so I'm not really sure why they did that. But it looks like it hasn't affected them negatively with all the press behind that, as they've still leading the race for the President's Trophy. Panthers win the draw, take a shot, and it's immediately swallowed up by Ullmark. We'll have another draw. 4-1, Bruins lead. If you guys haven't already, go follow my Instagram at Pulse Sports Talk. That is where I did the poll to choose which game we were going to do, and everybody voted that this is the game that they wanted. And yeah, they got it. But in the near corner, the Panthers have it. They'll send it behind the net. Bruins are quick to swallow that up, and they'll try and work their way out to center ice. They'll chip it over the Panther line. Panthers send it back to the neutral zone. and now it's Zaka. Sausages his way over the Panther line, will dump it in. Knight plays it over to Montour. He loses it and drops it off to Stahl. Stahl will send it back up to the neutral zone, and the Panthers look to get something going. Montour will swing behind the Bruins net. Will find his way back up to the point. Shot by Stahl, and he scores! Eric Stahl makes it a 4-2 game, as Ullmark was going side to side, and he just couldn't get there quick enough. Got a little bit of a piece of it, but the Panthers now make it a 4-2 game, so don't go anywhere. This game is not over. Bruins had a 4-0 lead, and now the Panthers have made it a 4-2 game, thanks to goals from Sam Reinhart and now Eric Stahl. Good puck movement by the Panthers, and they caught Ullmark going one way to another, and he just got a piece of it, and he couldn't get all the way across. Might have hit his own stick and deflected into the net. Get a closer look at it, and it did. So Ullmark trying to do some acrobatics to go side to side, but he couldn't get it going, and goes off his own stick into the net. That's Eric Stahl's second goal of the season. You think about Eric Stahl and his time with the Hurricanes, as the puck is batted out of midair and ends up in the hands of Ullmark. He'll stick it aside to the near corner. Panthers have life behind the net. It is Denisenko, who is in his 4th game with the Panthers this season. Although the Bruins take it away, and now they'll work into the Panthers zone. Along the near corner. Nobody can handle the puck, and now the Panthers finally do. They'll send it out to center ice, and they'll look to get another goal and possibly make it a 4-3 game. Shots are 15-14 in favor of the Bruins. 13:38 to go in the second period. So think about a comeback for Florida. There's time, as the Bruins will dump it in. Montour gets it out to the line, but not out. Bruins swinging around along the near boards. It's the Bruins trying to keep in it. It was Lindholm, but he couldn't do it, and so the Bruins retreat into their own zone. At center ice. Shot there by McAvoy is deflected and goes behind the Panther net. Bruins work it back up top. Lindholm tries to go around a Panther defender. That was to Chuck. But good play by the Panthers as they move it back up to center ice, and they take it away. White will dump it around, looking for Tkachuk. He's got Bennett trailing, but the pass goes too far, but it's held in by the Panthers. Take a shot from the point. Goes behind the net. Tkachuk, a centering pass, and it'll go all the way through, back up to the near side. In the near corner, it's Colin White, and he tries to flag the puck down, but he couldn't do so. Now Taylor Hall will go the other way. He'll go over the Bruins line. They'll drop it back off to Hall. Back down low. Coyle shoots and goes high and wide, and the Panthers will try and go the other way themselves. Potential 3-on-2, but the Bruins weren't having it as Hall intercepts the pass, and both teams will make a change. There's some good action there as the Panthers have seemed to have woken up in this game after a kind of a sleepy first period for them. Frederick at the Panthers line couldn't hold it in, and the Panthers will try and surge into the Bruins zone, but they'll take it away. It's Brad Marchand at the center of that. He button hooks, gets checked along the near boards by Montour, loses the puck, and the Panthers will hoist it back out to center ice, where Grzelcyk will try and move it over to his defense partner. Stretch pass ahead, send it over to Marchand, who tries to center one, but the Panthers pick it off. They could have numbers going the other way. Could be a 3-on-3, looking for the trailer, and puck was into the slot, save made by Ullmark, and the puck is loose, and they score! The Florida Panthers could have had their 3rd goal of the game, but the referee's waving it off, and the Panthers are still celebrating. It looks like that puck might have barely crossed the goal line, and it looks like they're going to have to do a review. So, take a look at this here, and oh, that's a goal! That's a goal, and the Panthers have come from 4 down to make it a 4-3 hockey game. Puck just barely trickled over the line, and what a play by Carter Verhaeghe. He's going to end up getting this goal. He makes a behind-the-legs shot type of pass, and it ends up going under the pad of Ullmark and just going over the goal line just barely before Forbort knocks it back out into the blue paint into Ullmark. So this is going to be a goal for the Panthers. They're going to review it, but this is going to be a 4-3 hockey game. So it looked like we might have had a snoozer at the start, but now it's a brand new game, or at least it's getting towards that point, as it's now 4-3. Okay, so maybe I won't make fun of you guys too much for picking this game. It's actually turning out to be a pretty good one. And the referee's going to make the official announcement. And sure enough, it is a good goal. So the Panthers were down 4-0, and now it's 4-3 off a goal by Carter Verhaeghe. And you might see that on a highlight reel because he makes a behind-the-legs pass that ends up being a shot that goes over the goal line just barely. But there was white between the puck and the red line, meaning it's a good goal. So, what an interesting turn of events. Shots are 16-15 in favor of the Panthers. That's Carter Verhaeghe's 17th goal of the season. Wow. Just wow. And so off the draw, Panthers win it. Lomberg will send over to Montour. He gets checked at center ice. And officials got his arm raised. Could we see a penalty to Boston? We will. And it looks like David Pastrnak is going to go to the box for Boston. So this is going to be a chance for Florida on the power play, their first power play of the game, and they have a chance to tie it. With 11:28 to go in the second period, the Panthers, 3 goals in about 9 minutes, and now they get an opportunity to tie the game. Unbelievable. It's just incredible. Boston got the first 4 goals of the game, and it seemed like they were going to run away with this thing, and then the Panthers got one, and then they got another, and now the goal by Carter Verhaeghe, they got life, 4-3, and now they're going to go in the power play and get a chance to tie this thing up. So, crazy turn of events. Who could have seen this coming? Apparently my followers on Instagram, because they voted for me to do a live stream for this game, I'll probably do another live stream maybe before or after Christmas. So if you want to vote on that, make sure you follow my Instagram at Pulse Sports Talk. I'll do a poll on there as to what game you guys want me to cover. And we'll do another live stream. But it looks like you guys have actually pulled through and picked a really good game. So, crazy, crazy turn of events. Boston leads 4-3. Let's see if I can. Get these numbers a little even. There we go. 4-3, second period. Let's see if we can get some stats going real quick before the commercial break ends. Okay, so first for Boston, it was Clifton, then Carlo, then Coyle. Second period, they opened up with a Pastrnak power play goal, but the Panthers ended up responding. Sam Reinhart, Eric Stahl, Carter Verhaeghe got the next 3 for Florida, and now the Panthers are within 1. Pastrnak is in the box for the Bruins. Panthers will go on the power play. Shots are 17-15 in favor of Florida. Off the draw, Boston wins it. It's Carlo, and he'll send it along the boards and out to center ice. And the first man on is a Bruin. Looks like it's Charlie Coyle. He'll button hook, look for reinforcements, and maybe Boston can get something going shorthanded. Boston with possession at center ice, and they kill about 15 to 20 seconds. It's going to be 20 seconds now. As with 11:05 and counting to go in the second period, the Panthers have just 1:34 to go on their power play. So good killing off the bat for Boston. Ekblad will work it down late for Bennett. He'll send it back up to Montour on the far side. Montour gets it to Ekblad at the line. He'll take a shot and looking for deflection in front. Puck is ping-ponging around, ends up in the hands of Reinhart. We'll send it over to Bennett. Bennett along the near side will work. He's at the circle. Work it back up top to Ekblad. Back for Bennett. Over to Ekblad. Ekblad down low to Chuck. Tries to take a shot. Fumbles the puck. Regains possession. Will work up to the high circle. Will take a shot and he'll fire wide. Bennett couldn't get the rebound. Slaps into the center. Looking for Reinhart. Back up top for Ekblad. Takes a shot. And sticked away by Allmark. And the Bruins send it all the way back down tonight. 48 seconds to go on the Florida power play. 10-10 to go in the second period. Panthers with an opportunity to tie the game after being down 4-0. They'll work it in deep. Bruins first one's on it, and they'll send it back out to center ice and all the way down to the Panthers zone. Gustav Forsling has it for Florida. Panthers trying to get one more rush going before the penalty expires. They'll move quickly over the line, try and center it, and it looks like that was Luostarinen who gets checked in the far corner, and the Bruins take it away. 15 seconds to go on the penalty. As the Bruins will work into the Florida zone, and the Panthers will take it away. Maybe one last rush as 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and the penalty's over, and the Bruins are back to 5-on-5. And a stretch pass here. Pastrnak out of the box. He tries to shoot, and he gets tied up in front and just couldn't muster a shot away. Knight makes the save. Centering pass. Blocked, and on the rebound, Pastrnak behind the net. Fumbles with the puck. Tries to center one up top. He gets it to Grizzly. Grizzly takes a shot, and it's blocked in front. And Luostarinen loses the puck. And there's a battle for it along the near boards. And the Panthers get to center ice, and it looks like we're going to have a stoppage here. Luostarinen is down after taking that hit. And it looks like he's going to get up. And I'm not sure if we're going to see a penalty here. The trainer is out for Florida. 9:01 to go in the second period. And it looks like he's a little shaken up. He's hunched over. He's gliding towards the bench. Trainer's got a towel up by his mouth. And now they send us to commercial, so I can't comment any further on that. Not sure if we're going to see a penalty on that, though. So, crazy turn of events. It was a 4-0 Bruins lead. It was 3-0 after the first period. David Pastrnak added to that total. Got a power play goal, his 21st of the season to start the second period. And it looks like the Boston Bruins are going to run away with this thing. But the Panthers found a way to claw their way back. First it was Eric Stahl, or maybe it was Stahl, or was it Reinhart? I think it was Stahl that got the first one. Let me check real quick. It was a lot of goals to remember now. It was Reinhart that got the first one, then it was Stahl that got the second one, and then Verhaeghe most recently got really a wacky goal for Florida. Puck was on the doorstep. Verhaeghe just between the legs takes a shot at the net and ends up going over the goal line, about a few inches of white between the red line and the puck before forward swept it out. Ended up being a goal. Hey Steven, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well as well. It's a lot of wells. But hope your holiday season is going well, and I wish a happy holidays to everyone. As we got a few hockey games here before the Christmas break. And I believe it's a 3-day break on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. And then they'll be back in action the following week. I think I'm going to cover a football game maybe that weekend, maybe on the 26th, as I think we've got Monday Night Football. I think it's going to be Chargers and Colts. So I might take a stab at doing that. But so far, we've got a pretty good game here between the Panthers and the Bruins. Looked like it was going to be a blowout. I was kind of disappointed by that. But the Panthers have found a way to get themselves back into the game here after being down 4-0. So crazy sequence of events. They had a most recent chance on the power play, but weren't able to score, and now it appears we're going to be 5-on-5. So no penalty on that play that saw Luostarinen go down for the Panthers. And we'll have a draw to the right of Spencer Knight. Off the draw, Panthers win it, and they'll get it out to center ice. Gaining the red line, it's Bennett. He'll dance by. Dump it over to Tkachuk, who takes a shot, and it'll go wide. Ekblad keeps it in. Fortunately, sends it right to a Bruin, although the Panthers take it away. Backhand shot for White is blocked in front, and the Panthers they do keep it in. It's diving effort by Bennett. Moves it over, and a shot goes wide. Work it back up top for Ekblad, who takes a shot, and that one also goes wide. It's picked up by Bennett along the near corner. Bennett will send it back up top for Ekblad. He'll take a shot, and it ping-pongs around in front, ends up in the far corner, and the Bruins take it away. Taylor Hall will slide it over to Lindholm. Lindholm over the line. We'll move it out far side. Try to center back for Lindholm, and they score! The Bruins, after giving up 3 consecutive goals, it's Hampus Lindholm that makes it a 5-3 game for Boston. And we've seen in this game Boston being able to score off the rush. They've scored now 3 out of their 5 goals on just making plays off the rush, and they're really good at spreading the ice, and they did it once again. So 5-3 Boston leads by 2. And that goal might end up going to Krejci. Let's see, I thought Lindholm might have deflected in front. He did. Looks like it hit both posts, and then Krejci was able to pop it in. So the goal will go to David Krejci. That'll be his 10th of the season. And what a wacky game so far. Really, truly a crazy one. So thank you, Steven, for the kind words. I'm glad that you're able to stop in. As Marchand off the draw will work it in for Boston. He'll stop at the circle, slide it over to Grzelcyk, and he'll send it behind the net. As the Panthers will try and take it away, they end up turning it over. And back up top, Grzelcyk moves it over, and a shot there by Jake DeBrusk. And that goes wide and back out to center. 7:39 to go in the second period. Bruins have a 5-3 lead, but the Panthers lead in the shot department 18-16. Bruins on a centering pass, a backhand shot by DeBrusk. Save made by Knight. Puck is in the near or far corner, and they'll get it over to, looks like Montour. He'll carry it over the red line. He drops it off for Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe takes a shot, blocked in front, and the Panthers get the rebound. It's Eric Stahl. He's got a goal tonight. Takes a shot. Save made by Ullmark. He tried to go short side, but he was ready for it. Well, thanks for the support, Steven. I don't really put too much effort into the channel, unfortunately. This is just where I do my live streams. It was either this or Twitch, and so I decided to do YouTube. But a lot of my work really comes on my Instagram at Pulse Sports Talk, where I post some stats. I post a lot of stats. I post a lot of questions. I post a lot of discussion-based stuff. Been trying to do a little bit more highlights, but copyright strikes have kind of been hitting me, so trying to find a way around that. But yeah, man, thanks for your support. I'm glad you liked the live streams, and thanks for hanging out on a Monday night. Ekblad will send it around the boards, behind the net. The Bruins have it. They can't get it out. Ekblad comes way down and keeps the puck in. He'll try to dance in front of the net, and Ullmark puts an end to that. And so he'll reach out and swallow up the puck, and we get a little bit of a skirmish in front of the net. Lomberg is there, so is Nosek for Boston. And with 7:01 to go, we can start seeing some physical play. And so, yeah, we saw some physicality there. Lomberg will go to the bench. Is off the draw. Boston wins it. They'll go behind the net. Bennett shadowing Lindholm. Eventually, Lindholm will peel away and work it up, trying to get a stretch pass to Coyle, but it's intercepted, and the Panthers will maybe go the other way. Here they come. Bennett trying to dance around the defender. He does, and it's poked away by Boston, and they get it back out to center ice. Ekblad has it for the Panthers. He'll send it over to his defense partner, and they'll try and get a stretch pass up for Bennett, but the Bruins weren't having any of that, and they'll send it back down with priority mail to Spencer Knight. Bennett off the boards. We'll send it behind the net, and we got an icing. Okay, so stoppage of play, 6:24 to go in the second. And after a pretty uneventful first period, for Florida, they were able to rally back in the second period, scoring 3 straight goals, made a 4-3 game. But most recently, Boston, off a goal by David Krejci, made it 5-3 and gave the Bruins a little bit more insurance. Off the draw, Boston from the line, we'll work it down low. Shot goes wide. Now it's in the near corner. It's White trying to get out for Florida. They can't. Centering pass for Boston. Bergeron. Shot is blocked. Goes into the far corner. And Montour will work it out to Chuck, who works over his own blue line and will gain the red line and dump it in. And they'll go off for a change. Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't gotten any new jerseys, so I don't really have anything else to show off. I pulled that one from the Cool Hockey Mystery Box, although they raised the price on that. I was considering maybe doing it again, but it's not worth what they're asking for now, so probably won't do that again, but it was fun while it lasted. Panthers, Montour Back up top for Reinhardt. We'll send it around the boards. The Panthers keep it in, and they'll once again send it around the boards over to the near side. Reinhardt checks Marchand, and they'll work it down low to him. It's like a sharp angle shot, and it'll go wide, although the Panthers have it in the high slot. Work it back up to the point. Now, they'll move it back over, and they couldn't hold it in. And their Panthers were looking to go D to D, but they couldn't do it. Now, over the line, Carter Verhaeghe has his pocket picked, and the Bruins will send it back out to the Panthers zone. And you get a stoppage of play, 4:59 to go in the second period. Sometimes it's hard to tell which player is which on these feeds where I'm watching on TV. It's a lot easier when you're actually there, but sometimes you just get a little bit of a motion blur and you can't really see players all that well. So sometimes you just have to make an educated guess. As they go to commercial, just a little bit under 5 minutes to go, but it's been a pretty good game so far. I mean, honestly, it didn't look like it was going to be that way. As Boston had a 4-0 lead. You think about their home record, 16-0-2. It seemed like it was a pretty done deal, but then Florida clawed their way back into the second period. But most recently, Boston got a little bit of an insurance goal from David Krejci on a wacky play where the puck hit both posts, rolled along the goal line, came back out to Krejci, and he was able to pound it in. And that gives us a 5-3 score, and that's where we sit with a little under 5 minutes to go in the second period. But for Boston, they're looking to add to their league-leading 50 points. They get a record of 24-4-2. They're first in the Eastern Conference, first overall. And I don't think anybody really thought at the beginning of the year that Boston would be in the running for the President's Trophy. But yeah, here we are. As I think a lot of analysts, a lot of experts, and even myself, I had Boston missing the playoffs. And it looks like that's not going to be the case. But I fell into the narrative of that Boston was going to be too old and that Jim Montgomery wasn't going to be able to come in and rally the troops and get this team going, but it's been quite the opposite, as Jim Montgomery really has done a nice job with the Boston Bruins this season. And I was skeptical when they fired Cassidy and they brought Montgomery, and I was thinking, Cassidy's a really good coach. I don't know why they would do that. And Bruce himself is having a really good season down in Las Vegas, so once again proving that he's a great coach. Jim Montgomery, and it's really good to see Jim back coaching. Honestly, he was out of coaching for a couple of years. He took the Stars job for a while, and I remember he had a few good runs with them, and then he left, and now he's back with Boston. He's having a really terrific season, so it's good to see that Jim is back in the league. Panthers will dump it into the Bruins zone. Lomberg, first man on it. He'll send it back up top, and the puck will deflect out of play. And so we'll get another stoppage with 4:43 to go in the second period. During the intermission, we'll get to some scores around the league. We'll talk a little bit. We'll do a recap of this game, and if you guys have any topics that you want to talk about, just about sports in general, go ahead and drop that down into the comment box, and we'll have a little bit of a discussion. As off the draw to the right of Ullmark, Panthers win it. Shot by Ekblad is snatched out of the air by the glove of Ullmark. And so we'll do it again. 4:40 to go in the second period. And really for Boston, their great season, you can't go without saying they've had great goaltending play. I think Ullmark has got to be in the discussion for the Vezina Trophy. We'll talk about that in a little bit. As off the draw, puck comes to Ullmark, he'll sweep it aside, and Lindholm will pitch it up to a Boston forward, and they'll try and get a goal here. Zacha will leave it over, and a shot, and Knight was screened, and the puck was bouncing around, and the Panthers are able to sweep it out to center. Dangerous play there, as the Bruins almost scored. Coyle will dump it in, Knight will play it. Looks over his shoulder, sees an oncoming Bruin, and will sweep it over to the far side. Panthers will hoist it down into the Boston zone, and no icing on that play, as the linesman waved it off. McAvoy has it, will send it up to neutral ice, and the Bruins will try and go. Backhand shot by Frederick. Will be swallowed up by Knight. That is going to be The Bruins' 18th shot of the game, and Panthers have 24. And Spencer Knight, coming into the game, had a 8-4-3 record, 2.64 goals against average, a .919 save percentage, and 1 shutout. There's a few goals in this game that he would have liked to have had back. It's not his most fantastic game, but he's still managing in net for the Panthers. And so he'll come out from behind his own net to play it. And first man on is Marchand. Puck pops up in the air. And they'll battle for it along the yellow stripe along the boards. Marchand able to dig it out, get it to DeBrusk. He'll backhand it in. And the first one on it is a Panther. And they'll work it out to center ice. And they'll dump it in. Bruins. Bergeron. Turnover. Panthers. Back up top. It's worked down low. And along the far side, Mark Stahl holds it in for the Panthers. As Reinhart spins away from the defender, he'll center it. Mr. Reinen bats it down. Excuse me, that was Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe in the far side will dump it around to the near corner. Montour there for the Panthers, but he'll send a pass around that's picked off by Bergeron. Although the Panthers get it back, it's Eric Stahl. Will send it back up top. Shot blocked, and the Bruins pick up the rebound. And now they'll work it out to center and try and make a change, and they will. Yeah, and the prices, man, they've gotten really pricey, which is unfortunate, but you can say that about pretty much anything these days, right? I'm hoping that once Adidas, their contract ends, that all the old Adidas jerseys, the prices on those will go down, and then hopefully you can pick some up for pretty cheap. Although you can find some good stuff on eBay, but it seems like the market's kind of bad right now on eBay. Just nobody's really selling, everybody's buying, and especially around Christmas time. 2:09 to go in the second period. 5-3, Boston lead. Surprisingly, they're not leading in the shot category. Panthers on that 24-17, but the Bruins are leading 5-3, as they'll make a change before the draw to the left of Ullmark. And so it looks like it'll be White, and I can't see who the Bruins player is, but the Bruins win the draw, and they'll get it back out to center ice, and looks like it's going to be a chance for Coyle. He beats Knight, but the puck goes wide. He lost an edge, and he just couldn't corral the final say on the puck, and oh man, you got to think about that scoring opportunity if this ends up being a Panthers win, as Coyle, now he has it again, will drop it off, try to center it, and the puck goes all the way back to the Bruins zone after going through just about everybody. Carlo will send it over to Coyle. He's over the Panther line. He'll stop, look for reinforcements, try to center a pass. It looks like Taylor Hall wasn't ready for it, and the Panthers will take it and go the other way. It's Bennett. Will slide it over. Shot there. Pad save by Ullmark, and Panthers hold it in. Backhand shot. Stopped there on a deflection over to the far corner, and the Bruins are able to poke it away and get it up to Taylor Hall. Could be a 2-on-3. He'll drop it off for Pasternak, who will stop at the top of the near circle. Work it back up to the line. Trade places with Krejci, and he'll shoot it, and we'll go wide. Panthers pick it up, and under a minute to go, 57 seconds to go in the second period. Panthers, Luosterainen drops it off, and a shot goes wide. Pasternak now picks it up for Boston. We'll get it up ahead for Marchand, but the pass is too hot for him to handle, and now Montour has it. 42 seconds to go. Could we see another goal here before the period ends, or will the Bruins go to the locker room with a 5-3 lead? They gain the red line, dump it in, Knight out from behind his net to play it. He will backhand it over to Montour. Montour will send it up, as it looks like Lomberg was trying to go around a few Bruins defensemen, almost had it, as the puck is chipped away, but he gets it back, and now working in deep, a shot saved made by Ullmark, rebound in the near corner. Picked up there by Reinhart. Gets it back up top. A shot by Stahl goes wide. And Panthers keep it in. 5 seconds to go. Can they get another shot off? Looks like they're not going to be able to. Or maybe they will back up top. And they do. But saved made by Olmark, and that'll be the end of the second period. So a lot going on there. We'll recap it in just a little bit. We'll be back in about 30 seconds, and we'll recap a really crazy second period that saw the Bruins have a 4-0 lead evaporate. But they were able to capitalize back on it. So don't go anywhere. It's the second intermission. Let me change this real quick. Second intermission. There we go. And I will be back in just a moment. Alright, welcome back to the stream. Sorry, I drank a lot of water. This cup was full when I started. And after a couple hours, you got to hit the can. But it's a 5-3 Boston lead. Boston had a 3-0 lead starting the second period, and then they added to that total. It was David Pastrnak hitting a power play goal. Sitting here thinking, well, maybe this is going to be a blowout. It's 4-0. And given the Bruins' home record, things were not looking good for the Panthers, but they found a way to get the next goal. It was 3-1, a goal by Reinhart, and shortly after, it was Stahl, making it a 4-2 game, and then a little bit after that, Panthers got another one on a really crazy play by Verhaeghe. He backhanded a shot near the, it was between the legs, that's what I'm looking for, between the legs, and he between the legs did kind of like a shot pass type of thing, kind of really, I think he was just trying to get the puck towards the goal line, and he ended up getting it over the goal line, and Forbort was just there. There's a second too late as there was white space between the puck and the goal line, meaning it was a goal. That gave us a 4-3 hockey game, and then the last goal in the period, it was a shot by Lindholm, or I guess a redirection by Lindholm, more shot-ish redirection. By Lindholm went off both posts across the goal line. Rebound came to Krejci, and he was able to pound it in, and that gave Boston a 5-3 lead. I looked for my the Ducks one on the way back, and I couldn't find it. It's probably buried in my closet somewhere. I don't really know where it is, but we'll go over some of the stats here as the Panthers lead the shots department 28-19, although the Bruins have a 5-3 lead. And they're winning in the faceoff department 52.5 to 47.5 for the Panthers. Power play, Boston's 1 for 2. Panthers are 0 for 1. As I mentioned earlier, the Bruins goal was a David Pastrnak goal on the power play. That was their only goal of the period. They had 2 goals in the period. Sorry, I was spreading misinformation. Now, they had 2 goals in the period, but the first one was the Pastrnak power play goal. Hits are 12-5 in favor of Florida. Blocks are 11 to 10 in Boston's favor. Giveaways 6, Boston 6, Florida 9. Takeaways are 9 to 5 in favor of the Panthers. Let's get to some scores around the league. Stars are in Columbus. They lead 1-0. Red Wings and Capitals are tied 2-2 going into the third. Oilers and the Predators are underway. They're tied 1-1 at the end of one. And a couple other games that haven't started yet. The Islanders are at the Avalanche. The Sabres are at the Golden Knights. The Canadiens are at the Arizona Coyotes. And the Blues are in Vancouver to take on the Canucks. I'm sorry. I looked for it. I couldn't find it, man. It's buried back in my closet. I think I put it back with maybe my summer clothes or something, man. I don't know. It's back there somewhere. Maybe. Take another look, actually. I will take another look. I'll see what I can find. For the sake of the stream, right? For the sake of the hockey spirit. We'll see where it can be. Yeah, I have no idea where it is. So, yeah, sorry about that. I don't know where I put it. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'll have to break it out next time for sure. But, it's 5-3 Boston lead. And really, a lot to talk about. But if you guys have anything else that you would want to talk about, go ahead and drop that down in the chat box and we can talk about it. With the Bruins, actually, while we're on the topic of jerseys, let's talk about the Bruins Winter Classic jersey. They're going to be playing the Penguins in the 2023 Winter Classic at Fenway Park. I wasn't a big fan of them doing the Winter Classic at Fenway Park again. I always liked it when they would do a new venue or a different venue each time. So a little disappointed with that, but it's still cool. And as far as the matchup, the Penguins and the Bruins, it should be a good game. But I mean, Bruins have been in there a couple times. Penguins, it's their first Winter Classic appearance since, I think it was 2011. They have been in a few Stadium Series games since then, so they're pretty familiar with outdoor games. You would have liked to seen someone a little new in there, but still a good matchup nonetheless. And I think the jersey game is okay. It could have been a little bit better. I think Pittsburgh's jersey is fine. It's a cream-colored jersey. It's got a couple stripes on it, black stripes, and it's got a big yellow P on it. I'm fine with the P jersey. A lot of people seem to not really like the P jersey all that much. I think it's cool. I think it pays homage to something cool, and it's relevant because it's between the Penguins and the Bruins, and it was the Pittsburgh Pirates that the Penguins are paying homage to. They were the ones to first wear black and gold, and that's why the Penguins are able to wear black and gold, is because back in the day, Boston, when the Penguins first started wearing black and gold, they say, hey, you can't do that. That's our colors. But the Penguins came back and said, actually, it belongs to us because we wore it first as the Pirates. And the Bruins said, okay, well, yeah. And the NHL came in and said, yeah, that checks out. And so that's how the Penguins were able to wear black and gold. So I think it's kind of funny and ironic that the Penguins would come out and pay homage to that in a game against the Bruins. But fun little history lesson. It's a cool jersey, honestly. I think it's fine. The P jersey. Some people might say it's a little bland, but I mean that's kind of what some Winter Classic jerseys are. I mean, you think about Minnesota's last year. It was interesting. Had that stripe across the top, so it was kind of weird. But the Winter Classic jerseys tend to have like a more retro look, like a really old timey look. They usually pay homage to something, and whether it be a team's early years in their history or another team that used to play there. I think Nashville's one. They were in 2020. They were paying homage to somebody. Can't remember who it was. Darn. But yeah, they were paying homage to a team that existed before the Predators. So I thought that was really cool. They did that. Well, yeah, and I think that jersey aged well, and I think the P jersey will age well as well. But as far as the Bruins jersey, I can't help but thinking that jersey would have been a lot better if they had some white striping in between the yellow, or maybe even cream. Even cream would have been good. It's just the fact that you have a yellow and then the two-tone. It's just kind of... It's like a black and yellow, and then they have the bear in the front, and then the arching Boston text over the bear. It's okay. I mean, it's alright. Like, it's not fantastic, I'm going to be honest with you. And I think the hockey guy, Shannon, on his channel, he said something that I thought was pretty funny. He said, it looks like a Walmart jersey. It looks like a jersey you'd find at Walmart. And it's true. It looks like one of those jerseys where it's a little creative, but it doesn't look like a legit NHL jersey. It's fine. It's not bad. I don't think it's okay. I liked their I think the yellow one that they wore against the Flyers. I think that was probably their best one out of the bunch that they've worn in the Winter Classic. I think, let's see, they had that yellow one, they had the one with the B, the white one with the B, and they're going to have this one. What's the other one that I'm thinking of? Actually, I could probably just look it up, huh? Let's see if I can... They've been in a lot of Winter Classics. But I think that yellow one's probably my favorite. Last year was Minnesota and St. Louis. So they wore the... Yeah, the Blackhawks have been in there a lot too, huh? Oh, okay. In 2016, they wore a black one. It was kind of actually, that was another two-tone jersey. Black base, yellow striping, with a bear and Boston text over it. It said Boston and then Bruins underneath the bear. That one's not bad. That's okay. I think that's pretty cool. I think the Bruins have been in so many Winter Classics, though, that it's like, I think they're running out of ideas, honestly. And they wore another one that was the yellow one. I think that was my favorite one. I think that's a pretty cool one. Out of all the ones the Bruins have worn, I think that one's pretty cool. And then they wore the white one with the B. And that one's not bad either. It's pretty cool. Big thick black stripe, black and yellow stripes on the arms. The Penguins, they're gonna wear the P one, right? Pushing P, and then they had in 2011 they had the like navy base with the baby blue striping. That's the infamous one where Sidney Crosby got his concussion. And then there was the powder blue one that they wore in the first ever Winter Classic against Buffalo, and they had the baby blue base, few white stripes, blue trim, and then white shoulder yoke. So pretty interesting. Not a bad lineup for both teams, honestly. They've been in so many Winter Classics. There's a lot to pick from. Yeah, I do have a green one. It's a Stars jersey. Yeah, that's it. That was the other one that I pulled out of the mystery box. That one actually came customized. That was actually a pretty good pull. I got it was the Dallas Stars home jersey. Yeah, yeah, and it had Heiskanen on the back, and it's good. It's nice. It really is nice. It was all stitched up nice and everything, and it was a pretty good jersey. I have that one around here too. I don't know where I put them. I don't know where it ended up. But because I've moved my stuff around over the course of the last couple months, so not really sure where those ended up. But yeah, I had that one. I think I've done the mystery box 3 times now. I think the first time I got a LA Kings Drew Downey one. Yeah, that was the first one. And I think I still have that, although I think I'm considering selling that. And then there was, because it's a little too big. And then there was second one was the Stars one. Yeah, the second one was the Stars one. And then the third one that I did was the Ducks alternate one, the one that you mentioned before. It really is a sharp jersey. If the Ducks went to that full time, I wouldn't complain. It's a really good looking jersey. But yeah, so the Kings one, the Stars one, and the Ducks one. Those are the 3 ones that I did. And then I was gonna do the mystery box again, but then they were asking like over $100 for it, American, and I was like, no, not gonna do that. And I think people saw that and they stopped buying it because I think they still have stock. In the mystery box, and those things used to sell out quick. I remember they would drop it and they'd sell out within minutes. And now it's like, yeah, you can still buy it. They're asking, oh no, it's actually sold out. It's sold out, but it was $150. Like at that price, just get your own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just pick. You know? But back when it was like $70 or something like that, I think it was when I was buying them. It was like $70. I was like, you know what? I'm fine paying $70 for a jersey that may come customized, even like the Heiskanen one, or the Downey one. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll pay $70 and see what I get. And I think the shipping was free too, so it really used to be a good deal. But now it's like double the price, and for $150, I could just pick whatever jersey I wanted, and so that's why I haven't done that anymore. And now I'm gonna graduate college, and I'm trying to save my money, so I'm probably done buying jerseys for a while now. But it was a good run. I'll probably get back into it someday. I think what I want to do at some point is have an entire wall of jerseys, with one from each team. I think that'd be really cool. Cool, like man cave type of thing to do. So that's probably the goal someday. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's just the mystery box. The mystery box used to be cool because you collect, you just get whatever you get, and it's from a team that you wouldn't normally buy. Then it would be really cool and whatever. But like I said, it's not worth what they're asking for now. So it's quite unfortunate. What are they selling a normal jersey for? Like just a blank for? Let's see. They sell blanks on here? I don't know. Anyway, we're back to live action in this game. Let me... Okay, we're in the third period. And Boston takes a shot and it's swallowed up by Knight. But yeah, I actually do like talking about jerseys. Jerseys are fun. They're a fun little thing. Again, oh yeah, I was going to check and see how much a blank is on Cool Hockey. I don't think they sell blanks, do they? You can get a blank customized for $230 USD. See, that's pretty steep. Customization is just, it's just steep, man. Yeah, they don't have that there. Let me see if I can find one on Adidas. Because I know they had some jerseys on there. They're just showing soccer jerseys on there. Let's see. Men. And there we go. Like you can get a blank reverse retro on the Adidas website for $190. I mean, even there, it's like it's like you could go and get a reverse retro, a brand new jersey, right? Prime green for $190 on the Adidas website, blank. Or you could buy the Cool Hockey mystery box, and that would be $150. So it's only $40 cheaper, and you don't get to pick. So I don't know. I don't know, man. It's to each their own. But I personally have refrained from buying the mystery box now. $18:37 to go in the third. Bruins have a 5-3 lead. Panthers win the draw from the left of Knight, and they'll go over into the neutral zone and dump it in straight on Allmark. And he feels the pressure coming, and he'll cover it up, and we'll get a draw to his left. Yeah, I mean, the price for everything has gone up these days, which is quite unfortunate. But, I mean, I remember you could get like an NFL jersey, one of the, just the screen printed ones. You could get one of those for like $100, and it's pretty decent. Yeah, jerseys are just fun, man. Jerseys are fun to talk about, and they're fun to look at. I don't have a prime green. That's the one thing I don't have is the prime green. I've heard they're cool though, with like the 3D embroidery and stuff like that. So I'll have to check it out someday. But yeah, I do not own a prime green. I personally like what Adidas has done with their jerseys. I think it's a step up from Reebok. I know that there are people that would have a differing opinion on that, but I really do like what Adidas has done with the jerseys. I just like the way that they manufacture them, and I've always kind of liked Adidas. Although I think that on some of them the arms run a little long with that. The NFL Reeboks one were pretty good. I think I used to really like the Reebok ones, although the sizing on them is kind of weird. They tend to go a little big. As a shot for the Panthers, and the puck is loose in the crease, and rebound shot there by Montour, and it's swallowed up by Allmark. But yeah, oh man, yeah, the NFL Reeboks were pretty good. Like you could have one of those and just put a hoodie on and call it a day. The Nike ones, I think the Nike ones are fine. I like the material. They tend to run a little tight, which is okay. I think it's fine. But the Reeboks, man, they were special. Although they didn't really age too well. It's like a lot of the like sublimation or like the screen printing would like wear off over a couple of years. But a lot of those jerseys are older now. But yeah, the Nike ones aren't bad. But I do like the Adidas NHL jerseys. So I'm hoping that once they're done, a lot of them will go on sale once the new manufacturer comes out. And who knows? Maybe the new manufacturer will end up doing a pretty good job. But I guess only time will tell. Centering pass from Bennett is blocked, and the Bruins out to center ice. Could be a 3-on-3. Drop it off. Try to get over to Bergeron. Pass is picked off by Bennett. And he'll slide over to Chuck. He will try and get it over for another Panther player. I think it was Mark Stahl. But it was too far ahead, and the Bruins will take it away. Um... 3D is awesome. Do you have a prime green? Or what jerseys do you got? I don't think I ever asked you that. Maybe I did. Maybe it was a while ago. It was a couple months ago if I did, so I apologize if I have forgotten. Yeah, they were pretty shiny, and the fit was okay. I'm a little bit of a smaller guy. I'm not really too stocky, so I don't have much of like a wider frame or anything, so like it just kind of tend to be a little baggy. In the sizes that I've gotten, I think I've gotten mediums in the Reeboks, and those tend to be okay. They're a little bit baggier, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really mind. Like I said, you just put a hoodie underneath, and it's cool. But I had a, I think, I have a Troy Polamalu Reebok jersey, one of those Reeboks. And then I have a Nike one. I think it's a TJ Watt one. And a stoppage of play here in this game. 15:48 to go in the third period. Ryan Lomberg's not very happy. He's barking at somebody. Looks like Charlie McAvoy is going to go to the penalty box. So we're going to get a power play chance for the Panthers. And so if you want to think about a chance for Florida to get maybe back into this game here after they were so close, just one goal. It was a 4-3 game. And then Boston got the next one, made it a 5-3 game. This could be a chance to close the gap as we're headed down the stretch. Looks like McAvoy carried over the red line, and he ends up going down. I'm not really sure what that call is. Okay, so we might have some 404 action. So now we see Luosterainen in the box for Florida. McAvoy's also in there, so maybe we'll get 4-on-4, and we do. Ooh, home reverse retro Panthers jersey. Ooh, man, that is good. And home Predators jersey. Those are cool. Those are cool, though. Those are some good picks. Is it the 1.0 or the 2.0 on the reverse retro? Because that's a pretty cool one. I mean, both of them are good. Both of them are good, honestly. I think the Panthers might have won both reverse retro series, honestly. Like, the first one's pretty good. I really like that Leaping Panther logo, man. I wish they'd bring that back full time. That logo is just cool. Honestly, if they made that old reverse retro, the first one, if they made that one the home jersey, and it had like a white away, I'd be fine with that. I really would. But the jerseys they have right now aren't too bad, but I just like that Leaping Panther, man. I like those logos with a lot of detail. I'm not a big fan of like minimalistic stuff. Which you see a lot of that with like those 90s jerseys. Off the draw to the left of Ullmark, Ekblad surveys and elects to drop it back for Reinhart, but he couldn't handle the puck and it goes back out to center. And so the Panthers will have to regroup. And looks like the puck is bouncing around a little bit. As the Panthers now gain the blue line, and Chuck has it. He'll drop it off for Reinhart. He'll send it over to Ekblad, who takes a shot, and that's an easy save for Ullmark. I personally don't think the Predators jerseys are that bad either. Like, a lot of people comment that they're pretty bland and pretty plain, which is true, but sometimes that's not bad. I think a lot of the piping on the Reebok jerseys, it's kind of unnecessary. I like what Adidas has done and kind of cleaned that up a little bit. But old Reebok jerseys were pretty good too, honestly. They were good, not gonna lie. Behind the net now, Panthers. It's a 4-on-3. I don't know when that happened, but it's a 4-on-3 for the Panthers. So a minute 6 to go on that. 14:52 to go in the third period. Panthers back up top. Looks like it's Ekblad. We'll drop it off for Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe gets it back up top for Reinhart. Back over to the far circle for Verhaeghe. Back over to Reinhart. Verhaeghe. To Reinhart, a drive, and it's blocked by a Bruin. Goes up and over to Ekblad on the near side. He'll walk the line, move into the high slot, dip it over to Reinhart. Goes coast to coast looking for Verhaeghe. He will work into the circle, takes a shot, and a save made by Ullmark. Rebound comes to Reinhart. 28 seconds to go on the 4-on-3. Back up top, Ekblad. Over to Reinhart. They'll trade places. Reinhart takes a snapshot, and it's right into the glove of Ullmark. He was ready for it. 19 seconds to go on the 4-on-3. Oh, Kansas City. No NHL there. Yeah, I live in a place with no NHL too, so I'm in Salt Lake City. So we got no NHL here, but that's cool. That's a 1.0. Yeah, I like that one. I really like that one. That was a cool one. Draws to the right of Ullmark. They win the draw. Back over to Forsling at the top. He'll move it over, takes a shot, and it goes wide. Picked up by Montour. Back over to Forsling. Montour. Forsling. Shot. Wide. Bennett, the first one on it, will try and slide over to Tkachuk behind the net. He'll dance in. Moves to Montour. Takes a shot. And Ullmark, does he have it? He's on his back now. Puck is probably somewhere under there. And it is. He'll get a stoppage of play. 6 seconds to go on what is now a 5-on-4 for Florida. And so Tkachuk was down below the goal line, moved into the slot area, tried to feed it over to, I think it was Montour. And Montour takes a shot, and it goes right into the breadbasket of Ullmark. Off the draw. Bruins win it behind the net. On the far side, they'll work it over to the near side, but pass is too hot to handle for Lindholm, and the Panthers will go the other way. Although Bennett fumbles the puck, loses it along the near boards, and the Bruins trying to get it out. Held in by Forsling, losing to the slot. Bennett, Tkachuk on the backhand, and Ullmark sprawls out to make the save. And the Bruins will hoist it back out to center ice, and they'll look to make a change. University of Utah? Yeah, that's where I'm at. Great place. Good school. And I don't think I've ever been to the Outer Rim Trail, but I've heard of it. Heard it's a good one. I'd like to check it out someday. Back up top. They'll try and deflect it wide. Oh, Stahl had a chance, and it just went wide. And the Bruins will take it away. They'll look to get a chance at their own. Although you've got to think that they're pretty content with holding on to the 2-goal lead. They'll just dump it in. And they'll really have to try and make the Panthers work for it here as they're down by 2 goals with 12:30 to go in the third period. As the puck will skip over to Ullmark, and he'll cover. It looks like they're going to go to commercial. It's the Bruins 5 and the Panthers 3. Honestly, didn't think we were going to have this close of a game at this point. It was 4-0 Boston, and then Florida rallied back, 3 straight goals, 4-3, and then Boston got the most recent one on a goal by Krejci. Although you got to give a lot of credit to Lindholm on that one, as he took the shot that bounced off both posts, ended up in the lap of Krejci, and he fired it and buried it, and now it gave the Bruins a 5-3 lead. Let's check in on Monday Night Football. I was going to do that earlier, and then I kind of forgot about it. Let's see where we're at with that. Packers lead 10-3. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Who has the ball? I'm not gonna lie, the NHL app, or excuse me, the NFL app kind of sucks. It's not really a good app. Like every second they just want you to get NFL Plus. Looks like the Rams have the ball. They are. Doesn't tell me where they're at. Cool. How's my fantasy team doing? Let's take a look at that. That's an interesting question. I think I'm losing. I am losing. I'm losing by about 20 points. Thanks to Nick Chubb and Miles Sanders getting combined 10 fantasy points. While the other guy had almost 50 from his running backs. So, go figure. I don't think I've never been to the pool, and I've never been to the disc golf course. Oh, man. I didn't even know there was a disc golf course. I like disc golf. I probably would have checked that out. That's too bad. I think I've rarely been up by the hospital, though, so I don't know. Down low, Reinhardt. Puck is poked back up to Forsling. He'll shoot it wide in hopes of somebody picking up, and his prayer is answered by Verhaeghe. He has it, although he battles along the boards. And the Bruins will take it away. They'll work it over the red line. And the puck will be chipped back out to Reinhart. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the pool. I don't think I've seen the pool. But, yeah, it's a nice college, honestly. Like, it is a nice college. I'm almost done there. Next semester is going to be my last one. So, we'll see how that ends up being. But, yeah, it's been a pretty cool experience so far. Bruins have it at center ice. And you got to think they're just going to play a little keep away here. Try and just melt the clock down. As they do have a 2-goal lead here. With 11:25 to go. Clifton. Shot from the blue line. Save made by Knight. And Panthers get the rebound. And they'll try to do a stretch pass up ahead for White. But the Bruins flag it down. And now they'll have it at center. Bergeron moves in, takes a shot, and scores! So Patrice Bergeron with another insurance goal. And that one goes right through the wickets of Knight. It's a 6-3 hockey game. And so that could be the nail in the coffin for the Florida Panthers, who had a valiant effort. Came back from 4 down to make it 4-3, but the Bruins have had the most recent couple of goals, as now it is a 6-3 game. And stretch pass went ahead, and the Panther player fumbled it, couldn't get all of it, and Bergeron took it away, and he just walked right down to the circle, and he went 5-hole. Went 5-hole on Spencer Knight. And really, Spencer Knight has not had a fantastic night. It's a night that he's going to want back. As now 6 goals on 21 shots. We're over his save percentage after the game. But it was promising for him coming in. I mean, he had 2.64 goals against average and .919 save percentage. Like he wasn't having a bad season at all coming into the game. But there was a few goals that he probably should have stopped. And so, a rough night for Spencer. But he's young and he'll learn. But it's got to be one that he'll want to have back. Bruins over the blue line into the Panthers zone behind the net. And Panthers will chip it out of play. Looks like it went off somebody's stick for Hagee was there. But it looks like this one is going to go to the Bruins, as they now have a 3-goal lead, although we've seen the Panthers score 3 goals in about 10 minutes before. There's 10:16 to go in this game, so never say never. Although you got to think at this point Boston's going to play a pretty tight defensive game and not let a whole lot through. Here's Luosterainen. He'll try and work around the defender, but a good defensive play by Boston, and they'll go the other way. Panthers will take it. Reinhart over to Verhaeghe. Gains the blue line. Will dump it in for Reinhart. Looks over his shoulder, sees a Bruin chasing him. It's McAvoy, and Bruins take it away. Puck bounces around. It's at the far corner now, and they'll battle for it. Behind the net. Luosterainen gets it back up top for Kiersted. He'll take a shot, goes wide. Reinhart on it for the Panthers. Looking, tries to center one, and it's blocked in front by Boston. But not out. Verhaeghe keeps it in, takes a turning shot, and it's right into the glove of Ullmark. And we'll get another stoppage of play. Looks like they're going to go to commercial here. So for Boston, just be another win for them. They would look to improve to 25-4-2 and improve that home record to 17-0-2. Really fantastic home start for the Boston Bruins. It's tough to beat them at TD Garden, and it's easy to see why. Haven't heard any of the audio from the game, but you got to think the fans are rocking the barn there. And really, they've had a good offensive showing, but I don't think Spencer Knight has been at the top of his game so far tonight. I think that attributes to Boston's scoring. But Sergei Bobrovsky was given the night off, and so was Spencer Knight starting. But just a tough outing for Spencer. And the Bruins, really, they're a good team. They're a good offensive team, and they're pretty well rounded. They're probably going to make the playoffs, right? You'd think at this point, if you got 52 points, or after tonight, if they've got 50 points now, you think they probably have a good chance of making the playoffs. Actually, let's go to moneypuck.com and check out the playoff odds. So you gotta think Boston's odds are pretty good. Yeah, Boston's at 99.5% to make the playoffs, 7.1% to win the cup. Carolina still has the highest odds, 13.9. And for Florida, 66.2% to make the playoffs, so they've got a pretty good chance. Although their chance to win the cup is listed at a 4.6%. It's projected that they get 97 points. So we'll see how that ends up going. But right now, they're down to Boston. And is off the draw. They take a shot, sticked away by Allmark. Now Brandon Carlo has it. He'll send it up to neutral ice. He'll chip it in for Coyle. Although good defensive work by Kierstead, who's in for Radko Gudas, who was a game-time decision, ended up not playing. In the far corner now, they still battle for it, and you think Boston's just trying to eat away time at the clock. 8:57 left in the third period. And into neutral ice to Chuck. We'll drop it off for, looks like Montour, but the Bruins pick it off. They get a stick in front, and it could be an odd man rush, but puck hops over the stick of a Bruin, and so they're not going to get that opportunity. We got a delayed penalty, though, on Florida. So Boston will go to the power play. 8:30 to go in the period. Marchand sends it over. Behind the net it goes. Panthers touch up, and so we'll get a penalty. Power play for Boston. And it looks like Brandon Montour is going to go to the box for Florida. In Boston, it was Frederick. Puck just hopped over his stick. The Bruins would have had a pretty good odd man rush opportunity. I think it would have been a 3 or 4-on-2, but it just couldn't connect. Off the draw, Boston wins it. They'll work it in deep. It is Pavel Zacha in the near corner. Puck will squirt back out to center ice after going past McAvoy. Couldn't hold it in. And so the Bruins will regroup, and I think the Bruins will be fine and content with just letting time roll off the clock here. But they are on the power play. Back up top to McAvoy. He will slide it over, and we'll send it back to McAvoy. Quarterback in the power play. Puck is down low for Krejci. He'll center one, and couldn't get a hand on it. Nick Foligno was there for Boston, but he couldn't get a stick on it, and the puck will go all the way back down to Allmark. 7:29 to go, 1:06 to go on the Boston power play. Pasternak trying to dance in, but a good defensive play by Forsling sends the puck back down to the Boston end. Although, like I mentioned before, I don't think Boston really cares too much as they have a 3-goal lead, and I think they'd rather just have the time drip away off the clock and take the 2 points in about 7 minutes or so. Along the near boards, they send it back up top. Slide over the Bergeron off the top of the near circle. Try to center one, and it goes wide. And Lindholm has it now for the Bruins. He'll bounce off the wall looking for a recipient. He's found it. It's Pasternak. Backhand pass to the middle. Bergeron. And he couldn't get the shot away. Puck is back up top. Lindholm takes a shot, and it's deflected in front. And the rebound, they score. It looks like Bergeron was there in front, and it is now a 7-3 hockey game as Boston just continues to pile it on. It's a power play goal. Okay, so touchdown Boston. and the extra point is good. And it was Bergeron on the doorstep, getting a big juicy rebound, just backhands it in overnight, and I believe that is his second of the game. And if it is, that would be his 12th of the season, and it is his second goal of the game. So 12 goals on the season for Patrice Bergeron, and he's having a pretty good start to the season so far, as the Bruins win the draw. 6:37 to go. Did the Coyotes lose? Hello, this guy is awesome. Go check out his Instagram page. Funniest dude on the gram, not gonna lie. Whether you're a Coyotes fan or not, got some good stuff over there, so go check that guy out. Thanks for dropping in, man. And we got a 7-3 game here. It was good for a while, though. It was pretty close, but Boston's really started to pull away. Panthers have 38 shots on goal to Boston's 22. So yeah, that's right. 7 goals on 22 shots for the Bruins. 1 in 3 goes in, and that's just the way it shakes out sometimes. So rough night for the Panthers. Although it was a 4-0 game at one point, Panthers clawed back, made it 4-3. But it's been all Bruins ever since. As Ekblad will chip in the puck behind the net, the Bruins will swarm it, and they'll get it out to center. Looks like Craig Smith will gain the blue line, dumping in a shot, actually, on Knight, and he'll cover and hold. And so we'll get another stoppage of play. With 5:38 to go in the third period, this one's pretty much done. I want to stop. Oh, yeah, good, man. Nice to see you again. Yeah, last time did a Yotes game. It was close. It was the one against the Sharks. They almost had it, but Sharks pulled through on that one. But it was a fun game. Coyotes almost came back and won it, but didn't really get a whole lot going offensively in that game. At least not until the very end. And I guess that's just the way it is sometimes. San Jose and Arizona was that one. Some people might have called it the Tank Bowl, the Bedard Bowl. But yeah, it was fun. It's a fun game. And we're just hanging out on a Monday night. After this game is done, probably do a little bit of a post-game wrap-up, and then do a little Q&A if you'd like, and after that, we'll be on our way. And Red Wings and Capitals are going to overtime, tied 3-3. Predators lead the Oilers 3-2. Stars defeated the Blue Jackets 2-1. And a few other games were just starting out. And the Coyotes are actually against the Canadiens tonight. So yeah, they're against Montreal tonight. I don't know. It just seems like that team is Keller, and everybody else is kind of just there. But they really are fun to watch, honestly. Like, you think with a team like that, with a record like that, you'd figure that they be kind of boring. But no, the Coyotes they stick around, man. I'll give them credit. Like they hang in there, and they're kind of fun to watch. They're growing on me. Not too far from Arizona, so pretty cool. Although I don't think I've ever seen a Coyotes fan walking around up in Salt Lake City, so I don't know. I've seen more Knights fans, though. There's a lot of Knights fans here, honestly. They really jumped on that bandwagon. Like, you see a ton of Golden Knights fans everywhere, and I think that's because, one, they were new, and two, Vegas isn't too far, and three, they did a few preseason games here where I think they had the Knights and the Kings. It seems like they were trying to build the Kings fan base here, and then they couldn't really do it, and then Vegas showed up, and they really latched onto Vegas for some reason, so. Games at the Mullet. That game, The Bullet's fun, man. I really think that that's a good atmosphere. I hope the Coyotes stay in Arizona, and I might be in the minority in that, but I really hope they stay in Arizona because I understand why Bettman wants to keep them there. Like, Arizona is a massive market, and I think if they get the new arena in a good location, and they actually build a good team, which it seems like they're in the process of doing. I mean, they got all those draft picks. Do you think if they connect on all of those, they get a good team in a couple of years to go along with that new arena? It could be really good, man. That's a big market. That's a big, big market, and I really think people would latch onto that team. I'm not in with the Houston stuff and whatever. Like, Houston in itself is a big market, but you don't want to lose Arizona if you're Gary Bettman in the NHL, because that's a market that you've been there for a while. It's always tough to move into a new market, and there's a lot of unknowns with that. So I understand why he wants to keep him there, but a lot of people, there's a lot of people from Quebec that would say, give us our team back, but no. I think the Coyotes should stay in Arizona. Plus, they got a really good look. I like the Kachina jerseys, and I like the branding. I hope they stay. It is good to get the exposures. I went to the one, I think it was the Kings and the Canucks a few years ago in Salt Lake City. And that was a good one. That was a lot of fun. And there's a lot of people wearing a lot of different jerseys there. Like, fans from every team were there. So it wasn't just Kings fans and Canucks. It was just, hey, we have NHL hockey here, so go check it out. And it ended up being really cool. And I enjoyed it a lot. I can't remember who won that game, though. But I know it was cool because they didn't just play a bunch of nobodies. Like, Jonathan Quick played. I think Brock Besser also played. Like, it was like a legit game. It was just in the preseason, though. So it didn't really mean anything, but it was still cool. I think they've been doing it every year for the last couple of years, although it used to be the Kings and the Canucks, and now they've been doing Knights and Kings. 2:53 to go in this game. This thing's pretty much done as Bruins are kind of just winding the clock down. So yeah, I'll start taking some questions here. But I would like to see the Coyotes come up here, honestly. Like, play a game, Coyotes and Knights. That'd be a fun one. Like a preseason game up here. I'd be all for that. But I'll do a little recap of this game, and then we'll probably on our ways. It looks like the Bruins are going to win this thing 7-3. So Clifton got the first one for Boston. That was 10:51 into the first period, and it looks kind of back and forth until about that point, and then Clifton scores, and then that opened the floodgates, as then Carlo would score 4 minutes later. 2 minutes after that, it was Coyle, trailing defenseman, just coming in and getting an extra goal. That was the Clifton and Carlo situation, and then Coyle was wide open, fired from the right circle. That made it a 3-0 game. In the second period, the Bruins continued to pour it on. David Pastrnak scored a power play goal that made it 4-0, and then I was like, okay, well, this thing might be done. But the Panthers clawed their way back. Sam Reinhart scored 3:02 into the second period, and then not much longer after that, Eric Stahl got one, made it a 4-2 game, and things got interesting. And then Carter Verhaeghe on a weird play where he backhanded the puck between the legs over the goal line, just barely crossed, and it counted as a goal. And that made it 4-3, but then after that, it's been all Bruins ever since. Krejci got the next one. Shot hit both posts, came to Krejci, he buried it, and then Bergeron got the next two. So Panthers are on the power play now, but I think the point is pretty much moot, as 2 minutes to go in the game. This thing's just about done. But yeah, it was really awesome, that game at Salt Lake City, and it was weird because it was like it's a basketball arena. I mean, that's where the Jazz play, so it was Vivint Arena. And it was kind of like a Barclays Center situation where it's like you could tell that it was a basketball arena and you're playing hockey in there, but it was cool. Yeah, Bruins staying hot at home. They're now going to be 17-0-2 at home. So really just dominance at home. And I don't have the audio for this game. I can't hear the audio, but I got to think that the crowd has played a part in that. But 7-3 win over the division rival Florida Panthers. Is that even a rivalry? I'm not entirely sure. But Panthers, they're going to go to 15-14-4. It's been a tough season for them. I mean, you think about the offseason that they had. There's a lot of question marks. They bring in Paul Maurice. And they got a lot of injuries right now. No Barkov in this game. No Gudis. Duclair, Hornquist, Lundell, Tierney's out, so they're dealing with a lot of stuff. And they're going to drop a game here. This is game 33 for them, so we're about a third of the way through the season. I think we're starting to really find out what teams are made of and who's going to make the playoffs and who's kind of out of the mix. I think the biggest surprise in the Eastern Conference for me has to be, in terms of expectations, it's got to be the Ottawa Senators. Those guys really kind of tanked. A lot of people said that they were winning the offseason, and on paper they had a great offseason, but it just really hasn't translated. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. In the West, Dallas and Winnipeg, those two teams have really had good starts, and St. Louis has kind of just been on the fringe here. They're just a 500 team this year, which is interesting. Because I think I predicted that either them or Minnesota would fall off, and I think I predicted the Wild would fall off and ended up being the Blues. But they're really similar teams that last year, so could have gone either way. Ended up being the Blues. They kind of took a dive. I was skeptical of the Maurice hire. I'm not gonna lie. I'm with you on that one. It just seemed kind of weird. Like, you were coming off of a President's Trophy win, and you had Andrew Burnett. Like, yeah, I mean, you scrape a series against the Capitals, right? You barely win that. Probably didn't play their best in that series, but I mean, they win it, right? So they win their first playoff series since last century. So they win that, and then they get swept by Tampa. But I mean, it's Tampa, so you know how that is. But I mean, I really didn't think Burnett did all that bad in that first year. I mean, what else can you ask him to do after just getting thrown in there? Capitals win in overtime against Detroit. Ooh, that is interesting. That is pretty big in the wild card race, actually, because I think those two teams are pretty neck and neck. So that's pretty big for Washington. I was talking to a Detroit fan the other day. I think it was a couple weeks ago, back when I was doing the PA job, and she was like, yeah, man, the Red Wings, like, they're third in the Atlantic, like, they should make the playoffs. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, like, they're okay. They're definitely making progress from what they were the last couple seasons. Bruins win 7-3 as we just hit zeros on the clock there. I mean, yeah, they're okay, but I just wasn't sure if Detroit was going to take that next step. I thought that they might regress a little bit over the course of the season and kind of just end up being a fringe team that either makes it barely or misses out. And it looks like now they're a couple points out of the wild card spot. So with Detroit, it's going to be interesting to see if they can make the playoffs, as they got a lot of teams in the East vying for that final wild card spot. Let's take a look at that right now, actually. So refresh the pages. A few games have gone final. So in the Metro, you got New Jersey, Carolina, the Rangers. Those are your top three, although Pittsburgh's right on the tail of New York. I believe they play them pretty soon, so that should settle that pretty soon. And Pittsburgh has 2 games in hand, so we'll see how that ends up. Pittsburgh in the first wild card spot, and then Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay. I expect that to stay the same, honestly, throughout the rest of the season. It seems like that's your 3 in the Atlantic. You got Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay. I think we're going to see another Toronto-Tampa Bay first-round matchup, and hey, I wouldn't mind. That's pretty good television. And then the New York Islanders, another surprising team, actually. I didn't think they would do all that well without Barry Trotz, but they're doing pretty decent this season. 37 points, 18-13-1. They got that wild card spot there, and Washington is right on their tail, as they're just a few points away. And then there's Florida, and then Detroit at 32. So yeah, and again, it's still a little too early to tell, but it seems like that wild card race is going to come down to Buffalo, Detroit, Florida, Washington, and the Islanders. I think Pittsburgh. I think they're probably going to end up top 3 in the Metro. They usually seem to hover around that area. So I think New Jersey is going to regress a little bit, as they seemingly have. But Carolina and the Rangers seem to be on the upsurge. Rangers have won 7 in a row. Canes have won 5 in a row. Pittsburgh just had their winning streak snapped the other night to Carolina. So I mean, they're on the upswing. New Jersey's kind of trending downwards. They're now tied with Carolina for first in that division. So You gotta think that a lot of teams here are probably gonna make the playoffs. That wild card race is gonna be interesting, though. A lot of teams in the East vying for that. It's not really like the Western race where it's a little more clear as who has the edge. Like Edmonton, Colorado, Calgary's there, but St. Louis seems to be up and down, and Vancouver's Vancouver. So, um, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's only happened 3 times that the President's Trophy team missed the playoffs the next season, and the Panthers are in danger of being the fourth. Although on the bright side, the first time it happened, the Rangers won the President's Trophy, missed the playoffs the next season, and then the season after that, they ended up winning the Stanley Cup. So it just goes to show anything can happen, and everything is just falls into place. But yeah, certainly a weird race so far, with Florida seemingly towards the tail end of that race. But I think once they get their players back from IR and once they get a little bit healthier, they should make a pretty good push here in the next month or so. But it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. A lot of parity in the league this year, honestly. Like, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I think that'll do it for me. I think that'll do it for this game. Boston wins 7-3. That is now final. Forgot to change that. But yeah, that's gonna do it. If you guys want to vote on the next game, I don't know if I should leave that up to a vote. 7-3, 73 game. It was either this or Monday Night Football. I let you guys pick on the Instagram poll. You guys picked Boston and Florida. So here we go, Boston and Florida. Although I didn't really expect this to be this wacky of a game, but as our good friend Did the Coyotes Lose said, that's the NHL. The craziest things happen, and that is completely true. So if anybody's still around, go follow that guy. Really cool dude. Check out his Instagram page with the same name. And as for me, follow my Instagram at Pulse Sports Talk if you want to be informed on when I go live and when I post stuff and all that. It's some cool stuff. It's fun. It's good stuff. Go check that out. And that's going to pretty much do it. So thank you to everybody for watching. I hope you have a good night. I might do another stream either before Christmas or after. We'll see how it shakes out. But it's a 7-3 Boston final. They improved to 25-4-2. 52 points on the season, and they're leading the race for the President's Trophy. Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that Boston would be winning the President's Trophy race just a few days before Christmas? Not me, and not many others. But that's just the way it is in the NHL sometimes, where the craziest things happen. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you all for watching, and have a good one.